you from the first time you called me late. Loved you for your whips and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Oh, no, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah, you can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, never, never wanna forget. To forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
you from the first time you called me late. Loved you for your whips and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Oh, no, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway. Yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway. Yeah, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah, you can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. To forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back in the land of the dawn. We are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and today is Season 1, Week 4, Day 2, and we have a banger on the way as these teams will be competing and practicing for future upcoming events for North America. A little bit of a breakdown of the schedule today. We have Blacklist International, the American version, versus the Elite 10. A little bit of a revamp on Straw Hats. Series 2, we are going to be jumping into Demigods versus Swavel. All of these matches will be a best of 3. And to close it out with Series 3, we are going to be seeing a new team in the making, Tang Dynasty, going up against a crowd favorite, Nefarious. So super excited to see what all of these teams bring to the table today. But speaking about bringing to the table, match 1. Like I said, it's going to be interesting. Blacklist International versus the Elite 10.
An interesting match, just like you said there, Wheezy. We haven't got to see this full 5-man of Blacklist International, but I have gotten a chance to see their roamer up close in the ranked matches that I was running with Elite 10. And I think he also performed out here in the MLSA. I think maybe he was running with Demigods on their roam, but I have seen that pull. He is exactly like Oh My Venus over there in Jakarta. So Elite 10 potentially going to be facing off against the little NA version of Ube. Some compositions I would expect to see, and we already see the Paramus being locked in by Oh My Venus. So definitely tipping that hat right over there to the Jakarta twin doppelganger that is now currently in NA, walking in and paying homage to the real Oh My Venus.
Definitely a lot of homage indeed. You know, the question is, can he live up to the name? And we are going to see that today is locking in that Faramis as well. A bold statement in the beginning. But speaking of beginnings, you are seeing Faith over there on Elite 10, hovering over that Martis. Hayama still having an option as well. Liam Ward hasn't been picked up, but they are going to go for the Lapu. And I always said they kind of look similar, the Martis and the Lapu. To get to see them side by side, they literally could be like twin brothers. But a little bit of 3,000 worlds and that Brave Fighter stance on the way on the side of Elite 10, and that guarantees them a lot of frontline presence. Now, looking at the side of Blacklist, that Faramis, looks like they're going to slot up that Atlas as well. Diggy was banned, so possibly that's been their kind of game plan all along. A little bit of support to Faramis mid, and then that Atlas for the Roam is going to guarantee them two things, CC and sustainability.
Definitely going to guarantee them some CC, but those two picks right from the side of E10, Mortal Coils and that Brave Fighter stance on Lapu are able to dance around and immune CC. So gonna give this roamer a little bit of issue here, potentially to land those fatal links. We are seeing that Estes being picked up by Rainy here. It does get forced to group up, but with that Purify, can go ahead and negate that CC and make sure his team survives any follow-up engage from the side of Blacklist.
Yeah, definitely an interesting draft, right? Locking in that Estes over there by Rainy. And you talked about Blacklist strat, but Elite 10 possibly going a little bit of that Venus route with that Estes. You know, the Queen is just all over today. But that's going to give some sustainability into the hands of Elite 10 as well. But the question is, whose heals can outdo the other? You have the Cold Altar over there by Venus, but on Rainy going to have the Blessing of the Moon Goddess on their side. Now, looking at these picks, right, you have that Melissa, that mid to late game marksman that can use that go away, that little bubble, that force bubble to keep these front lines from penetrating the shields. But an interesting fact, right? Faith is running Martis, and Martis' Mortal Coils, his second skill, the 3-part combo that has anti-CC, is able to go straight through that bubble. And I don't know if Melissa knows that or not, but definitely going to possibly see this today. And that's going to kind of bring up some conditions going forward, right? You have this Melissa. You have to play safe, you have to get good positioning, and be careful of the over-engage from the front line that Elite 10 currently has. That Martis is going to have no problem closing in to that back line. Even with the Atlas on their side, the Fatal Links, it's not enough to stop an Atlas. All Atlas has to do is Mortal Coils out, and you can't really grab them with the Fatal Links. Now, I guess one thing in their favor, when you typically have that Estes on your side, teams like to preferably group up. And when you group up, that gives Boss KP what he needs to kind of get that set and a potential advantage for his team going forward. So I'm definitely going to say for Atlas, for Faramis, and for also Estes, it's going to be a battle of positioning. But right now, I love the way the draft is going. I still couldn't give it to one side just due to them being really well compositioned. You have that Martis in the jungle. We know how well he dominates in that aspect. Still some valid picks for the side of Blacklist going forward as well. Lapu, we've seen him picked a lot in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, not really having too much of a struggle in that XP lane. But on the side of Blacklist, we haven't seen who they're going to pull out as their fighter. We haven't really seen them play in the MLSA as a full 5-man team. So I'm really interested to see going forward who they're going to kind of pull out to go against Samurai.
Definitely. It's going to be a matchup for the ages. No matter what, they go ahead and pick up Lapu, right? Rising up, that durability being increased with those recent buffs. He's actually had 4 buffs in this season with no nerfs, which kind of led to him rising up where he is right now in this XP position. But speaking of things rising up, the Eve is going to get slotted up, and then the YZ response pick. And we've seen this matchup in between some other teams, namely Ackerman and Novacore last week, right? We've seen the YZ into the Eve. I think it went 1 for 2, right? The first time was a horrible experience. And I think that was Wavell that actually used that one. And then we saw Ackerman pull it off in the MVP from the YZ, able to get it done. But that CC right from the knockup petrified combo that Wakatashi has went ahead and locked in, not the same as far as effectiveness against Eve, who now immunes to CC, only falling to suppression during that real world manipulation, something that has helped her be able to secure a spot back in the mid lane, back on the rise. And with this Estes, is going to be quite the amount of utility that E10 will have in response to Blacklist's composition right now.
Yeah, I'm loving this Eve. Definitely seeing Eve being slotted time and time again in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. Like you said, typically over there by Ackerman, over there by Novacore as well. But you are looking at Wakatoshi, right? Picking up that Yuzong, probably a little bit of a plan to drop on that backline. And we kind of stated this before that really the only thing that affects Ashiki on this Eve now is suppression. And that's going to be from the Divine Judgment over there from the Kaja, or possibly the Bloody Hunt from a Franco. So even with Wakatoshi over there on this Yuzong, it's not going to really be able to stop that real world manipulation from going down. So definitely needing a game plan on going to that back line and bursting down that mage before Ishiki takes the whole area under his control. We know Eve typically provides that slow, that zonage for these neutral objectives, and also these towers. And if you have no answer to get to that back line, that you kind of see the side of Elite 10 possibly dominating in the early game.
Definitely. Speaking of the early game, right, we see the Roger also have been picked up. So E10 gonna have to do a good job of avoiding leading into a snowball for the side of Blacklist here with that Roger, which shouldn't be too hard, right? They do have the Martis locked in to the hands of Faith. The compositions are set though, and I mean, Wheezy, before the match gets underway, before the bias sets in, before the plays start to happen, please give me a little insight there. Who are you feeling wins right now, just off of the compositions alone?
Well, looking at the composition, right, you have the mid to late game damage over there by that Melissa, and if you stack up against the counterpart, that Claude, that guaranteed late game blazing duet, I would have to say there is more frontline into the hands of Blacklist right now, and they have an interesting composition for a couple of reasons. They have the Atlas with the Fatal Links. That's guaranteed CC. They have Venus with the Co-Alter to kind of keep the team alive when things get tricky. They have the Melissa with that go away and also that mid to late game damage to close it out. And if Melissa can't close it out, they have Roger to rush in and secure those kills. If you are looking at the side of Elite 10 right now, they don't really have the strongest presence in terms of CC. Yes, they have the damage capability, but in terms of sets, they are lacking in that department.
They are lacking in that department, but we are seeing a little bit of engage in the jungle. Shadow Stampede coming out from Venus is a little damage, but Faith gonna go ahead and turn that around and get assisted, facilitated in that kill by Ishiki on this Eve. It's an early first blood for the side of Elite 10.
An early first blood indeed, and that's going to go into the hands of Ishiki on the mage, and that's not the hero you want to get it if you're on the opposing side. Every step closer that Ishiki gets to these core items, the harder it will be when that real world manipulation goes down. So you need to be careful, especially if you're going to trade kills. Not only trade kills, you need to have a trade in terms of these kills as well. Like you said, 1-0 right now, already a decent or a slow lead, possibly by the side of Elite 10, but it's only 1 minute and 38 seconds in. Speaking of leads, though, looking at winning conditions, right? Like I said, late game, Claude, mid to late game, Melissa. Both of them requiring a gank to kind of get the job done. Melissa can be a little bit more aggressive, though, when it comes to this gold lane. But with that aggression, I'm expecting Elite 10 to capitalize on it and gank and try and take down that marksman. Speaking of objectives, taking the neutrals, you do have the Martis to kind of go for these turtles, these lords, and you have the Mortal Coil to your advantage. You just have to watch out for Boss KP over there with the Atlas and the Fatal Links. But speaking of the clash, looks like Martis already pulling the aggro of the turtle. And you do see Roger going in, a possible clash.
We are seeing a possible clash here. In the backside is Faith, though, gonna pop that decimation, but that Faramis Cold Alter is gonna come in to keep Black Dragon enter into the fight, but Lapu Lapu gonna find a kill on this Faramis. In the back line is Samurai trying to do damage to the members of Blacklist. They are currently up 1-0 in the trade right now. Now Faith coming back in with a Mortal Close to return some more damage. Ishiki gonna find a kill on YZ here, a 2-for-0 trade in that fight so far as the members of Blacklist are reeling from the engage. Roger gonna have to disengage from that fight as he is getting pressured in the jungle. Shadow Stampede coming for Frames, but while that's happening, meanwhile, Faith does secure that turtle and now looking to apply the pressure on this jungle. They know Roger is low. They know the members can't really defend up much. Atlas at bay from this 4-man composition here from the side of Elite 10, grouping up nice and early. Ube is an infect. They are going to go ahead and steal this red buff, potentially even forcing YZ here low in the XP, who's not going to be able to go right back to lane against Samurai, who's currently shoving.
An excellent play indeed for the side of Elite 10, kind of showing their presence in the early game. Speaking of early game,
we are seeing the decimation come out from Faith. That's another kill, and this tower is going to go down in the XP.
And this is just what we're kind of talking about. Taking these early kills and also taking these neutral objectives, what you want to do when you're playing a Martis, right? And excellent composition from the side of Elite 10. A little bit of a recap of kind of what we've seen, right? Going for that turtle, you realize the team kind of grouped together around that Estus. Realize they had the sustainability. You do see the Blessing of the Moon Goddess about to activate as Rainy hits level 4 to keep his team alive. And what that created was a chance to push off Blacklist from this turtle and guaranteed it into the hands of Faith.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more there. But speaking of things going down, speaking of Faith here, the side of Blacklist looking to potentially find a kill, but that blessing of Moon God from Rainy is going to give him some sustainability. Cold Ultra being popped out from the side of Blacklist. Going to go ahead and pop that on Roger, though. Silence down. Real World has been popped. Rainy, not Rainy, but Atlas going for the set. Does secure a 2-man. Now Roger looking to find another kill, only finding one so far, 1 for 0 in the trade. The support has been taken down on the side of Elite 10. Now the rest of the members looking for the recall here as they do go ahead and lose that trade. But now Faith running the 3 members, going to find Atlas though with the decimation, and now he's on the charge, going to pop the ice retry, looking for Roger here, a double kill going to the hands of Faith. They have to find a way to slow that man down. The snowball right now 3-0 and 3 for Faith on this Martis, the conqueror of 3,000 worlds, looking to secure an early victory up against Blacklist International.
What a play indeed, and that's the power that Martis kind of offers in this early game. He does fall off a little bit late. Speaking of falling off, you are seeing Lapu Lapu get a kill over there on Wakatoshi. A little bit of an overextension. Yes, the lane was lost as well, and that's not really the place you want to be, especially when you don't have that tower in terms of defense. Speaking of defense, though, we are seeing a possible clash going in on to Boskip, deciding to wisely retreat. But this is another neutral objective into the hands of Elite 10. Now, let's take a look at these items, right? Speaking about Elite 10, they are just farming these objectives left and right and also stacking up these kills. Now up by 4,000 gold. A little bit of a clash possibly in the mid lane. Venus trying to kind of kill these minions by himself. Boskip waiting for a possible set.
Potentially, Boskip going in, gonna find the back line, is gonna go ahead and secure that set, but the sustain coming in, Real World dropping in, Colt Alter has been popped now on the side of Blacklist. Venus gonna find Rainy, Faith though gonna find a kill on Atlas, a trade from Roger, finding the Eve, then finds the Lapu, a double kill right now, shut down for Wakatoshi as he does find Faith, a 3-for-1 trade. They'll make that 4-for-1 as Blacklist has finally found their mark, trying to even up this match as they are gonna go ahead and push down this mid tower.
And what a play over there, knowing what's at your disposal in terms of utility. A little bit of a look back. You see Boskip in that bush, waiting to wrap around and get that set with the Fatal Links. And if I was the side of Elite 10, I'm definitely retreating. But no, a 3-man Fatal Links into that tower, which in turn allows your team to take 3 kills. No, actually 4 kills, leaving only their marksman Claude on the top side to kind of defend against that, and definitely a wise decision indeed. You have to be careful in terms of placement, especially when you have an Atlas you're going against.
Absolutely, gonna have to be careful with those engages. But speaking of being careful here, the members of Elite 10 are looking to push down on this gold lane. He is currently sandwiched, but they're gonna go ahead and back off now. They have eyes on Atlas here. A good job by Boskip to kind of starve off that engage that was potentially gonna happen right now, clearing out a path, clearing out some vision. Rainy though, being caught out potentially, is gonna find the rest of the members of Elite 10 to try to disengage. Does have to get forced to pop the ult, but also the Colt Ulter being popped out. Now the set comes in, the Fatal Links dropping in. Melissa gonna find the kill on the Sheik on this Eve. The mage is down. Now we are seeing Faith finding a kill though as well in the back line. Oh my, Venus finding Rainy though. Double kill from Faith. The decimation is online. He's looking for the 3rd kill. Is going to go ahead and pick that off. No, Samurai is actually going to go ahead and snatch that out of the hands of him. A double kill from both of these melee fighters from the side of Elite 10, able to finally win out on that trade and going to go ahead and start up this neutral objective.
This is kind of what they needed, right? To maintain that momentum in this fight. Already going for the 3rd neutral objective. This would be the 3rd turtle into the hands of Elite 10. But they are losing a couple of towers. They did lose one in the mid lane, which will open up a little bit of that map. But a little bit of a mirror effect as Blacklist lost theirs as well. Looking at the XP, both sides have lost a turret as well. But Turtle going into the hands of Faith on the side of Blacklist. A little bit of an item check. It's Shiki picking up that Ice Queen wand. We kind of said that he'd be that provider in terms of utility for slow with that ultimate, that real world manipulation going down is what he's planning on. Speaking of plans, you do see Fatal Links frozen.
Did catch Samurai there. Melissa's going to go ahead and pick up that kill, but on the opposite end though, Elite 10 pressuring in that jungle, looking to steal this buff from Blacklist. They don't have the Fatal Links. They already used it on the Lapu Lapu, so this engage from Boskip on this Atlas not going to lead to anything if the members of Elite 10 decide to engage, and they will go ahead and force this fight. Real World drops in, but it does get quickly erupted there. But Hayama entering in with a blazing duet. He's taking a lot of damage though. My Venus gonna go ahead and pick up that kill, but Faith finding a killing spree, taking down Atlas, looking for the members, a double kill. Almost had the triple, but no, that go away, disrupting the flow as Waka and company are gonna be able to walk away advantageous in that trade.
Now, this match is taking some interesting turns of events, right? You're seeing Elite 10 slightly have the advantage, but then out of nowhere, getting almost completely wiped out from Blacklist. And you kind of got to scratch your head on why, right? Usually it's from these aggressive clashes that you take inside of the jungle, and you have to ask yourself, is this the fight we need to take? What do we win from taking this push? And right there, you didn't see them win anything as Blacklist was able to win that trade. But speaking of trade, Brave Fighter stance.
Yes, Samurai finding a kill on the Roger there. A nice pick, but at what cost? Is now the members of Blacklist are looking to trade that out. Rainy getting taken down on the Estes by Oh My Venus of Frames. The Flicker Shadow Stampede to go ahead and pull back another member. Samurai in an uncomfortable position. Brave Fighter Stand's not going to save him. Double kill in Navina's hand, but Faith going to trade that out. A double kill as he does find members. Now Hayama looking to find a kill on Boss Kip. They're going to walk away. A wipeout for the side of Elite 10. Blacklist down. 3 kills falling into the hands of Faith on this Martis. 11, 3, and 4. Obviously, the man of the hour, the man with power, looking to lead his team to victory up against Blacklist right now.
The man of the hour, the man with power. Faith over there on that Martis. And we kind of said, when you allow this pick to slip through your fingers, this is what you have to deal with. Unfortunately, Blacklist learning the hard way is that decimation is it's a team killer, right? As soon as y'all get to a quarter of HP, he can one-shot pretty much anybody. And the decimation only gets stronger per each kill. He gets faster as well, and his basic attack increases as well with the damage. So definitely a well play indeed on the side of Elite 10 as he hits 11, 3, and 4. This man is on fire.
We are seeing the engage from Atlas, the Fatal Links, and Cold Altar both being popped, but the Blazing Duet coming from Hayama as the Shiki gets taken down by Melissa here, but Faith doing his job there, finding a double kill on these members. Roger, though, being able to take him out. Melissa finding a double kill after taking out Rainy here. Hayama looking to potentially go find more, but Yuzhong going to hit him with a knock-up triple kill going into the hands of Melissa. A misplay from him, but Samurai looking to clean up this fight and secure for the side of Elite Tennis. He does find a double kill now in the 1v1 with Roger doing a good job of kiting right now. Going to go ahead and immune some damage here. Samurai on the run as Roger is bringing up the heat, but that bravery, blessing, and the Brave Fighter stance from Samurai is going to conclude that fight as he does survive the 1v1. He is the man with a plan as he is going to go ahead and start up this Lord for the side of Elite 10 currently spawning in.
Man, oh man, what a clash. Neck and neck down to a Lapu versus a Roger, and Samurai having a little bit of an easier time closing out that fight. Like you said, opening up this door for Elite 10 to start trying to take this Lord, and right now looking like it may go in their favor, but you are seeing a little bit of a possible engagement. Boss kept waiting to kind of rush in with that Fatal Links, but the question is, can he get there in time? No, he does not. And not only did Samurai get a kill onto Roger, he also secured that Lord into the hands of Elite 10. Now looking at a bit of a difference of 4,000 gold, Elite 10 leading the way strong. Strong frontline presence as well. You've seen the Martis having that antique cures for the physical defense, having the Laggards as well for a little bit more defense in the physical department. Also going to have the Blade of Despair, the highest physical DPS damage item in the game. You are going to be looking at this Lapu Lapu, kind of a little bit of an interesting build so far. Hunter Strike for the pin, the mobility. You have the Bloodlust Axe for the sustainability, and then the Brute Force as well. The Oracle to kind of keep him in there, and you're seeing a very sustainable front line for the side of Elite 10.
Indeed, we are, but now we're seeing the push from the side of Elite 10. The waves are currently synced up. They're looking to go ahead and get some inhibitors. Rainy and Hayama working on that top inhib. This pressure is getting put on the mid. Lord going to get taken down, though, from Melissa, but the side of Elite 10 doing a good job of clearing out the space in that top tower. They do secure a mid tier 2 now hovering over this mid lane currently. Not looking like there's too much, but they might be able to go ahead and secure this top inhibitor. They will go ahead and take it down now. The Black Dragon coming in from Wakatashi is engaging on the fight, finds Rainy with the knockup of the Pier 5 coming in. Cold Altar being locked. Fatal Links as well, but misses Claude with the Blazing Duet. They're currently, though, winning that fight as they are wiping the members right now from the side of Elite 10. Wakatashi finding a Shiki. Hayama, though, going to find a Melissa a double kill as he picks up Venus as well, but Roger going ahead and take him out. But Lapu taking down that bot inhibitor. A couple members falling from the side of Elite 10, but not before they are able to crack open this base of Blacklist. But the Brave Fighter stance from Lapu gonna find YZ a mega kill on Samurai as he does go ahead and pick up another kill. Now he's in that 1v1 again with Roger, but will not have Brave Fighter stance on his side. Roger looking for the kills. Gonna go ahead and back off, though. Not gonna go ahead and press on anymore as he was getting low. Samurai gonna be able to survive that confrontation.
Speaking of confrontation, I think a little bit of that's a Raven vision right there. Having a little bit of a vision on what would come out of that fight. As we've seen him on the 1v1 versus Samurai, and it didn't work out too well. So Not the worst decision to kind of pull off of that fight. Even though he could have possibly got the kill, it's more important for him to stay alive. Speaking of alive, looking at these towers, they are falling left and right, and you are seeing the side of Blacklist down to their last inhibitor turret for the mid lane. A lot of insurance in the hands of Elite 10 right now, as they still have their inner turrets for each lane. They are up by 7 kills, or 6 kills as well, and leading in gold by 3,000. You are seeing a lot of sustainability on their side, a lot of defense. You see Martis picking up that blade armor to kind of negate the physical damage, basic attack damage that this Melissa will kind of dish out to him. Not the worst option, but speaking of Melissa, right? Windtalker, Berserker's Fury, Scarlet Phantom, Demon Hunter Sword, ready to kind of take out these front lines. Speaking of taking out, Black Dragon popping down.
We are seeing him pressure now to the back line. Gonna miss the knockup. Rainy in an uncomfortable position. Does get caught by the CC, but Hayama free right now for the Blazing Duet, doing some damage, getting bounced back from the go away. Now getting turned on by the members, but he's still doing a good job as he finds Bean, is able to secure another kill, a double kill, make that potentially 3s. Immortality is popped by Boss Kip. That is a triple kill going to the hands of Hayama. Count him down, 1, 2, 3. They're looking for the tap out as they are pushing the Nexus right now. Only Roger left to defend. He won't be able to survive this onslaught as Elite 10 will secure the first match. They are taking that Nexus International down. Elite 10 up 1-0 in this best of 3.
Victory!
Man, that was an insane game. A turn of events. Blacklist International taken down by Elite 10 in an impressive style. And this kind of goes back to that Eve, right? Not really getting to that back line. A little bit of a recap of what we kind of seen through today's match. He's just kind of dominating on the board. You are seeing them kind of fight it out. And I want to say from both sides, being very aggressive. A little bit of that 1v1 action, That's So Raven replay right there, as we did see Lapu rushing up against that Roger, and Lapu having a little bit of the easier time with that sustainability. Definitely a good game indeed, but it was not enough to kind of keep them in this game, as you did see Elite 10 kind of push through and close it out, and definitely impressive indeed. And I gotta say, if you are the side of Elite 10, you're moving very strong right now. Something that we are proud to kind of see as they are climbing up that ladder for the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. Speaking of ladders, looking at the data, we are going to go ahead and see basically a lot of turret push into the hands of Yu Zong on one side, but on the other side, Lapu with the 39, a battle pushes from the fighters for these turrets. But like we said, it's not enough. You got to kind of play these objectives and make them work in your favor. And we've seen Elite 10 do that slightly better. But I got to say, like, between both of these teams, that was a heavy, aggressive game. But that's not all, ladies and gentlemen. This is a best of 3. So both of these teams are competing in the first series of the day. So the question is, can Elite 10 close it out with the sweep? Or will we see Blacklist come back and take game 2? Don't go anywhere, as we are going to be jumping into the next match momentarily.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, Honey Bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back as this is a series. We are on Series 1, Elite 10 versus Blacklist, and we've seen an insane turnout from the hands of Elite 10 to close out Game 1 with a bloodbath finish. But like we said, it's a series. It's a best of 3, and the question is, can they close it out with a sweep? Or will we see Blacklist kind of come back and steal that thunder?
Looking to steal that thunder, but speaking of steal, Elite 10 currently up 1-0, looking to steal one of their first wins as a series in the scrims. It's been a while, right, since we've seen them win. They came close last week. They were up against Nefarious in the same position, 1-0, but the reverse sweep coming into play as they did lose the hold. Now, with the same position up against Blacklist International, we are hoping, right, expecting, and would love to see them be able to go ahead and close this out and get one of those secured victories and make it look pretty flawless with this composition. But Blacklist, right, gonna have to dig back and find a way to fight up against Elite 10. Both of these teams new to each other, so everything was brand spanking new in that first match. It was our first time seeing them go against each other. It was their first time going against each other. And now with that first match out of the way, the nervousness break down, seeing some of these composition both teams will play. It'll be interesting to see the adjustments these teams in the MLSA will now make as they go into match 2.
Yeah, definitely some adjustments indeed. Even though I would say Elite 10 was able to close that out, but it was a very close fight in terms of clashes, but almost all the way down to one member kind of staying alive each time. So I will say, for the side of Blacklist, right, they had a lot of CC. The side of Elite 10 really didn't have the CC, but they had the sustainability and the damage to kind of stay in those fights. So I'm super excited to see which way this draft kind of goes. Speaking of draft, you do see Samurai wasting no time as that Kaja slipped through the ban phase and now put into the hands of Samurai. We know how deadly this Kaja can be, right? It's a flex pick. You can put it in the jungle, put it in the XP lane. You have the Divine Judgment to kind of rush in, grab any hero of your choice with the suppression to stop them in their tracks and possibly guarantee a kill for your team. Not really sure if that's something I would let walk. If you are looking at the side of Blacklist, who they decided to kind of ban out in its favor, they took out the Faramis. Now, when you take out that Faramis, you allow some other picks to walk. But speaking of picks to walk, since they did take the Kaja, Leomord is still on the table. And you are going to see Akikyo go ahead and lock that in for the side of Blacklist.
He is going to go ahead and lock in that Leomord, but from those team fights that we saw, right, in the last match, and you pointed it out, right, kind of getting left down to those 1v1 situations. So some very prolonged fights, very drawn out fights. And with that being said, if these compositions kind of gear towards that again, Leomord going to have a hard time. Potentially that burst is really what he is, very online with that stampede coming in from Barbrio to dish out some damage. But if we have the Kaja here, right, in the XP, we know Samurai likes to play it in that defensive state. That damage reduction going to be there throughout the entirety of the fight, throughout the entirety of that ultimate from that Leomord. Going to be very hard for him to find a way to execute a kill before his ult runs out, where he kind of becomes useless then when he's not riding around with that horsey. But as well, we are seeing that Akai and Eve, so some slow, especially with that Ice Queen wall, the utility there to slow him down as well, the Akai for the displacement. Everything stacked up right now against Blacklist as they have put their faith in this Leomord for the core.
Yeah, looking at these picks so far, right, you have Carry, that late game marksman, able to burst down the frontline composition, but you got to look at who is Carry kind of meant for. Faith locking in that Akai, possibly a plan, thinking that's Akai jungle for the side of Blacklist. And that's not the worst decision, right? As they could still kind of lock in something else beefy and sustainable. That could even be an Akai inside of the jungle. And that's one of the beautiful things when you go for these flex picks. But is Carry the right answer? That's kind of the question right now. Speaking of picks, though, Venus is going to go ahead and lock in this Chang'e. I'm not really... Something we've seen, I want to say, once before in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. So the second time seeing a Chang'e kind of shown in the MLSA, and I'm wondering how it will perform. You've seen Ishiki over there with that Eve. You're not really seeing anybody to kind of stop him and get to that backline neither. So I'm expecting later in the draft a plan from the side of Blacklist to stop Ishiki from getting online.
Definitely, and to harp on that Chang'e, I think this is actually going to be the second time we've seen it. The first time, though, coming at a loss. I want to say it might have been Nova, it could have been Demi, one of the newer teams had pulled out, rightfully so, one of the newer picks in the MLSA, but currently 0-1 Chang'e is in the MLSA. Maybe Blacklist looking to switch that up with that Meteor Shower but it's going to be matched up against Eve, right? The range and the utility that is provided by Ashiki on that mid lane. Now, Oh My Venus with his Chenge is going to have to find a way to kind of deal with that. Not really a composition I would potentially use Chenge in. Not too many scenarios in general, right, that you would put Chenge in, but this one not looking like something I would pair up against Elite 10, and not even with the members next to Carrie and Leah Mord, but you know, they have their own strategies. We've seen them try to pull out one in the first match, didn't work, but now in the second game looking to shake things up. Speaking of shaking things up, they did get rid of that Lapu Lapu, not wanting to deal with that Brave Fighter saying Samurai was getting it done on both ends, finding members and finding towers. And as well with that Claude, the MVP from the last match for Elite 10 in the hands of Hayama Akira in the gold lane, trying to take some of those picks, deny some of those picks from the side of Elite 10 as we have finalized those bans in the second phase of the draft.
I'll definitely say, if you were not a Lapu Lapu fan before this stream, you definitely should be now. And kind of banning him out, that's interesting to see, a respect ban at its finest, realizing kind of what that Lapu Lapu provided for their team. They didn't really have an answer. But interesting enough, they have that carry. I would have expected carry to kind of burst down that Lapu. The question is he worth the ban? Just because you have a hard time, maybe re-engaging with a different draft may be the answer, but completely banning him is allowing the picks on Blacklist to kind of, not Blacklist, but allowing picks on the side of Elite 10 to stack up. As you are seeing Boss KP lock in the Atlas, and now I'm kind of scratching my head, right? You have faith.
Yeah.
You have faith on the Akai, who can heavy spin and put pressure on Boss KP from even closing that distance to get a potential Fatal Links. And to top it off, Rainy, to make it even harder, is going to go ahead and lock in that Lolita. And right now, you've been double countered for your roam.
Absolutely, right. And that heavy spin, we've seen it time and time again, going in for those Fatal Links, but the heavy spin coming from around the corner to not only secure a kill, a pickoff on Boss KP on this Atlas, but to also keep the members of the back line, namely Venus, Symbols, and Akihiko, or the Leah Mord at bay, and going and secure and splitting that fight. But not only that, right, he counters the roam and as well as Lolita, but the Chenge we have to talk about, Meteor Shower now got to deal with the presence of Rainy with that shield to go ahead and negate pretty much the entirety of the kit of Chenge there, pretty much all projectiles coming in from the skill 1, skill 2, and then only some mobility in the S2, right? So not even anything that has to be dealt with, but now we see the set potential, and it's paired up with the Eve, something we've seen, the utility from both of those two, that real world manipulation, Numium Blast coming down at the same time, is almost a auto win in those team fights if stacked and layered properly. Speaking of layered and stacked though, the final pick from the side of Blacklist will be that Grok, the wild charge to pair up with those Fatal Links. Both teams bringing in some powerhouse frontline mega ultimates in play here. It's going to come down to execution in between both of these teams. But Wheezy, as the last change timer's ticking down, give me a quick rundown. What composition right now are you looking to go ahead and edge out and secure this second match?
Ooh, kind of put me on the spot there. But if I have to give it to one, right, you have Kaja with the Divine Judgment. You have a Kai to kind of keep people at bay, even though you're going up against a Grok. Definitely going to give that Atlas a harder time. You have Lolita for the slow, or Eve for the AoE damage, and Leslie for the late game. I don't know. I feel like after they kind of slotted in that Grok, it solidified the side for draft, or for the draft on Blacklist to kind of counteract this Akai pick and also this Lolita. So if I had to rate both drafts on who I think did it better, I would honestly give them a tie. And this is the first time I can actually say this, and I think that was some really wise drafting for the side of Blacklist to kind of counteract what we've seen Elite 10 lock in. As we know, both of these teams currently trying to win this series. Elite 10 in the lead as they have one win on their side. But like we said, this is a best of 3. The question is, can Elite 10 close it out, or will we see the tempo kind of rise up from the side of Blacklist to take this to a game 3?
Absolutely. And it's also interesting to note, right, with that CC in play, both of the teams having ways to break the CC. Heavy spin from Elite 10, able to break CC. But speaking of breaking CC, a little bit of a clash in that mid river there. Both members jockeying over the litho, but that is going to fall to the hands of Elite 10 and the wise disengage. They do take that first early little neutral, if you want to call it, in between these two teams. But back to that CC though, right? Faith able to break it with the heavy spin. Also, Eve, right, having the Purify and a Real World at the disposal. So basically double CC immunity up against this Atlas and Grok. And we know Grok as well has CC immunity along that wall with that S1 activated right from the passive. And Atlas as well during that Fatal Links funneling charge up state. Oh, speaking of charge though here, Wheezy.
You see Heavy Spin to kind of stop that Shadow Stampede, but he was able to jump on it just in time. But now wasting some huge utility for Leomord, but not only utility for Leomord, as that forced out the Heavy Spin from Faith. We do know neutral objective kind of spawning in 14 seconds, and without Leomord having this ultimate at his side, that Shadow Stampede, it would be a little bit more of a challenge to take it. Speaking of challenge though, you are seeing on the top lane, the Kaja versus the Grok. Kaja just having an easier time, especially with that Ring of Order to kind of do that AoE damage, and also having that Divine Judgment. But Turtle has spawned in. It looks like a little bit of aggro pull from Rainy right now. You do see Boss KP hiding in the bush, waiting for a possible Fatal Links play. You see Akihiko over there waiting for the Retribution. Can he get the backdoor Retri? Divine Judgment pulled into Venus, doing some serious damage, forced to retreat. Meteor Shower going out, but look at the Turtle, half health now, and you are seeing Faith heavily focused on it. You do see Heavy Spin going out, trying to keep Leomord at bay. Faith able to secure that Retribution. You do see Numenon Blast going down, combo with the Real World Manipulation, clash going in from both sides, but the question is who will prevail. Carry getting a kill on Okai, Leomord getting a kill on to Eve, and that is 3 members down for the side of Elite 10, as there was a double kill, and down goes Rainy as well. Man, oh man, Akihiko sitting really nice right now. It's gonna go ahead and secure 2 of those kills in that trade, but something on the side of Elite 10, right? They were able to secure that Turtle. So not the worst trade, but I would have to give it more into the hands of Blacklist. They took 3 kills off of that, now leading by 600 gold.
Definitely leading by 600 gold, but Hayama did pick up that Windtalker in the midst of that from some of that Tower of Gold after Carry made that rotation up there to the Turtle. So getting online a little faster right now than Carry, even though she did pick up a kill and 2 assists. So not too bad for the side of Elite 10, right? You did give up some kills there, but your marksman is still doing okay, still doing fine. That's kind of what you want to see. But speaking of things you also want to see, might have been a little bit of miscommunication. I don't know if Hayama maybe knew Carry was going, or if the side of Elite 10 paid attention when Carry showed up on the map there. You got to be careful when that happens. They did have an advantage at first, but once the Carry came up and was online and available for that fight, kind of got to take account of that and be prepared for that dive. Speaking of being prepared, though, we are seeing Blacklist forming up a bit of a 3-man here in this bot lane here. Elite 10 potentially getting caught out in a trap as Boss Kip is going to go ahead and face check real quick, but the disengage, the step back from Ishiki on this E is going to allow some safety in that jungle. Both teams, though, looking to edge around this gold lane. We do see Turtles also going to be spawning up shortly, less than 20 seconds. So both teams starting to jockey for a position down here. Faith already poised in his position in the river. We're walking right by him. I was expecting maybe we might have seen a play from him. Speaking of plays, though,
You see Numenon Blast kind of forced out a little early, right before the Turtle. I'm not really sure that was the smartest move, especially with this neutral objective popping up. You want to save your ultimates for this clash, as this neutral objective is a game changer. But speaking of game changer, Blacklist realizing the Numenon Blast is not in effect. Boss Kip rushing in, possibly getting a Fatal Links. Does he connect, though? Kind of has the zonage, not going to go ahead and waste that utility. He's going to go ahead and go up for Faith. Faith having that Retribution at his side. He's going to go ahead and lock in this Turtle with the heavy spin combination. Not even the side of Blacklist can deal with Faith on this Akai right now, as that is 2 Turtles in their hands. Definitely needing a little bit more of a plan in terms of zonage to stop him. But speaking of stoppage, you do see Fatal Links connected 3 members of Elite 10. Clash going in from both sides. Sai getting a kill onto Rainy in the process, though. Ring of Order over there by Kaja connecting on the Boss Kip. Down goes Atlas. Sai getting a kill onto Faith. You do see Carry getting a kill onto Kaja, and Hayama getting a kill onto Grok. What an interesting trade of blows from both sides. Everybody just dropping left and right, but that is 3 members on the side of Elite 10 to 2 for the side of Blacklist, and now a 6-2 lead in terms of kills.
6-2 lead in terms of kills, but Elite 10 still with a slight lead in the goal. They're starting to throw bodies, but speaking of throwing bodies, Hayama does pick up that Berserker Fury now. Interesting to note, right? When that Turtle started up, Hayama was still focusing the tower, even though Carry made the rotation. Again, Carry picking up that Corrosion Scythe and able to start into that fight. You can see here on the replay, right? Hayama finally still going for that tower as Carry's applying that pressure right here. Blacklist does have the numbers, but Faith was still able to find a way, right, to go ahead and secure this turtle with that heavy spin on the Leomord here. A good pin, able to pick it up. Then finally, Hayama turning over to this fight, and they made the call, right, to go for that engage. We saw the Divine Judgment come out from Samurai with that rotation. A little too quick for the rest of the members of Elite 10 as they did force in and land into a Fatal Links. But right now, still doing pretty okay, even with those minor mistakes. Just got to polish it up a little bit. Same from Blacklist, right? Got to learn how to take advantage of those numbers. But both teams currently going pretty even right now. Only a 200 gold lead in the favor of Elite 10. It's a very close and competitive game in between these teams. It'll be very interesting to see who will be able to edge out on top as Blacklist is looking to come back and even up this series.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see how it paves out, right? But we kind of point in some direction toward the gold lane right now. Both of these mid to late game marksmans, you're needing a rotation from either side. Speaking of rotations, though, momentum. Shadow Stampede going in. Hayama, a little bit of ping pong on to Leslie, and Carrie able to secure that kill. And not only the kill, but Blacklist securing that tower for the bottom side. While this is happening, though, a little bit of trade in objectives. Faith going to go ahead and lock in that third neutral objective, the third turtle, into the hands of Elite 10. But in the mid lane clash going in, you are seeing a possible kill. Carrie taking out Rainy. Carrie with the speedy light wheel is going to try and get another one. Can he get the double? Yes, indeed, a double kill. Down goes Ishiki. Looking on the top side, though, tower does fall into the hands of Kaja against that Grok. What an impressive play, but now deciding to try and push back as their mid lane is being pushed in. You do see Meteor Shower connecting, a little bit of a flicker, Divine Judgment pulling in the Leomord heavy spin combination. Hayama securing the kill with that ultimate sniper, Leslie. And that is a kill into the hands of Elite 10, and they were able to defend that mid tower, but they lost a tower in the process. Both sides losing a tower in the process on opposing sides of the map.
Definitely. I mean, that final deaths there in that mid lane. K-Pro trying to trade out the mid as well. Might have been a little overzealous, might have overstayed. But speaking of things staying, items being locked in from both teams. But wait, might be locking into a fight here in this mid.
Trying to take this objective. Newman on blast, popping down, but a little bit of a waste. And this is the second time we've kind of seen Rainy over there with that Lolita using that ultimate too early. You want to wait, be patient, and use it to the maximum potential. And right now, when you use it very early, you're allowing the side of Blacklist to push in for these fights. Speaking of pushes, though, you are seeing Grok with a direct response on the top side, able to clear that tower over on Kaja.
Was able to clear that tower. Currently up 2-1 in terms of towers. Might go up just one more as mid lane is getting pressured out with a heavy spin coming out from Faith to go ahead and block that, and then finding, oh my goodness, in the chain gate, Numian Blast coming down to Shiki, gonna find that kill with the Eve there. As we do see a trade though off screen. The fight's still going on though in the jungle.
Yeah, did see a trade indeed. And this is an interesting turn of events for the side of Elite 10. They were able to kind of clear out this mid lane, possibly going in and taking this turret will open up the map. But speaking of the map, on the top side, you are seeing Sai with that Grok having an easier time against that Kaja with the help of Leomord. Speaking of help, though, real world manipulation popping down, and she can get a kill onto Boss KP, opening up this turret to be taken down in the mid lane for Elite 10. What a play indeed, and now they're going to go ahead and pull the aggro of this Lord. But the question is, can they get this neutral objective? As you are seeing Akihiko with the backdoor retribution, possibly. Meteor Shower going in from Venus to kind of burst down this Lord. A little bit of assistance to the side of Elite 10. Now you see the Shadow Stampede go in. He is connecting, but Faith again with the retribution and the separation, able to secure this Lord. And now Akihiko getting a kill onto Rainy. But Lord going into the hands of Elite 10. A little bit of suppression with the Divine Judgment, pulling in the Shadow Stampede. But Akihiko having other plans, going to go ahead and possibly secure a kill. But no, Samurai flickering out just in the nick of time. Meteor Shower going down from Venus, trying to push back this Lord, trying to do some damage. But you are seeing Blacklist kind of maintain the pressure in the mid lane. But Elite 10 able to secure another neutral objective in their hands. Looking at the gold, though, only up by 600. A lot of neutral objectives going in their favor. But in terms of kills, you're seeing Blacklist dominate in these fights.
Are dominating in the fights, but we do know, right, kills don't always win the games, as they are starting to push down this Lord with Meteor Shower, right, from Venus. We might see a bit of a clash here from the backside, Boss Kip.
Oh my goodness, some Fatal Links connecting on two members of Elite 10, but real world manipulation going down. Do they get a kill? Hayama get a kill onto Carry. Marksman taking out a Marksman, the ultimate sniper, just too much to handle. And this will open up another turret, the inner turret for the mid lane into the hands of Elite 10. But do they stop here, or are they going to go for this inhibitor? Yes, they do. Meteor Shower try and burst down the minions. But wait a minute. Atlas rushing in the frontline tank with the Fatal Links on his side. And this is a wise decision from Elite 10 to decide to disengage.
definitely a disengage. And with that being said, with that bot side tower getting taken down, let's take a moment to go ahead and look at these items. So much action going on from the side of Elite 10. That Ice Cream Wand already being picked up by Ashiki. That utility is in play. Leslie already got 3 core items, the Windtalker, Berserker Sphere, and Endless Battle, starting to work on that Blade of Despair for some of that damage. Interesting though enough, on Lolita, not picking up that Dominance Ice, which you normally see from those roams. Picked up the Brute Force breastplate, which was changed recently, right? Had some of those attributes stripped away, but had some cooldown reduction added to the kit. So Rainy looking for some CDR there. But on the side of Blacklist, starting to pick up those items as well. Carry having those 3 core items right now. Corrosion, DHS, and Golden Staff being locked in. Chenge has also picked up some utility. Ice Queen Wand as well to make that Meteor Shower a little more deadly to face off against once you're caught in it. It is almost impossible to escape. Grok with that Hepta and Blade of Despair, the damage is online. Same with Leah Morris. He has also picked up some Bloodlust Axe for some sustainability in these team fights up against Elite 10. So both teams, right, finding some core items, finding those utility items to go ahead and aid them in these battles right now, though. Elite 10 currently, obviously, on the board, on the map right now, taking over. They do have a 5-3 tower lead. They are behind in kills, but they're ahead as far as macro, as we are.
Awesome. Prepare for it. A little bit of cutout there, but show continues as you are seeing Blacklist kind of play a little bit defensive now, grouping together, but a tower is going to fall for the favor of Blacklist right now. And speaking of favors, right, Enhanced Lord has spawned in, and the question is who takes this. We see in these 5v5 clashes the side of Elite 10 kind of struggling, and the side of Blacklist more on the powerhouse. But in terms of overall objectives, time and time again, we're seeing the Akai over there on Faith able to secure it with the Retribution.
Indeed, and now we're seeing the side of Blacklist start up, but hold up here, Wheezy, potential engage.
You see Newman on blast, but a real manipulation going down. The wild charge as well. Carry getting a kill on to Kaja. Fight not over though, as Lord is still in the mix. A double kill by Kaja as well. You do see Hayama getting a kill on to Grok. Shadow Stampede rushing in, trying to take Hayama down. An eye for an eye, a blow for a blow, but Carry getting a triple kill. Akihiko getting a kill as well. Killing spree activated onto Hayama. The Shadow Stampede just a little too fast for a Carry to escape from. Speaking of escapes, though, you are gonna, or not Carry, Leslie to escape from. But speaking of escapes, you are gonna go ahead and see this fall into the hands of Blacklist. This is an interesting turn of events, as we kind of said. Blacklist normally dominating on these 5v5 clashes, but you are seeing Faith normally have an easier time with the backdoor Retribution. But in these fights, not even having that opportunity to make it work in his team's favor.
Definitely, and that Lord fight there definitely don't work into the favors of Elite 10, who was currently leading this game by quite a bit as far as the objectives, but losing that Lord gonna give Blacklist a chance to go ahead and get back in this game. But speaking of get back into, looking at the replay here, we're seeing the action right in the mid lane of things going on from both sides. Elite 10 was able to find some pickoffs early on, but not able to secure that team fight there on that Lord. Now Blacklist will be looking to push down and maybe open up this map. We are seeing the Lord ready to charge in. Blacklist starting to group up. They are getting the towers, though. Leomore finding one in the bot side, but now can still play.
Ooh, wait a minute. Fatal Link's connected. Meteor Shower as well, doing some serious damage. You are seeing Lord trying to burst down this inhibitor down to a thread, and the inhibitor has fallen for the top lane, and now leaving only the mid and the bottom for the side of Elite 10. Lord still working his way to the Nexus, but quickly bursted down. Another tower getting taken in the process. Now only the inhibitor for the mid lane and the inhibitor for the bottom lane to kind of protect Elite 10 from losing this game, and Blacklist on the strong offensive stance. But we got to look at what's been kind of traded from both sides, right? Look at their side of the map. They have a lot of turrets they lost as well, with only the inner turret on the top side protecting them from going down to just only their inhibitors. Speaking of Clash, though, Leslie getting a kill onto the Grok. That is one member down. Newman on blast again. Too early from Rainy right there, and just a waste of utility. But maybe the plan is just to keep them at bay. Rainy realized the next fight that is going to happen, I'll definitely have my Newman on blast back off of cooldown. But I'm not really sure if that's the wisest answers. If Blacklist decides to kind of capitalize with that ultimate not in their disposal, they could possibly win this clash.
They could win this clash indeed, but like you pointed out, right, we need to see Lolita land some sets. Speaking of sets, though,
heavy spin in the real world manipulation. Shadow Stampede, 3 ultimates going out. Carrie getting a kill on Hayama. You do see Lemore getting a kill on to Lolita, and Carrie getting a kill on to Akai in that process. Shadow Stampede, too much to handle. Getting that double kill. Down goes Eve, but in the river, you see the triple kill over there by Carrie, and that is a full wipeout for the side of Elite 10, and this is opening up the game for the side of Blacklist to close it out, as no members are going to spawn in for the next 20 seconds, and man, oh man, they have done it. The American Blacklist is going to go ahead and take us to a Game 2 for Series 1.
Victory!
we're able to go ahead and close out that match and even it up 1-1. And wow, what a play, right, from the side of Blacklist, able to capitalize. Rainy having a hard time with that Lolita, like you pointed out, not able to find those sets to enable the team to be able to stack on in those team fights. But from the side of Blacklist, doing a good job of layering in that damage. Leah Mord and Carrie having a field day in those team fights with those utilities being wasted. And if you look at the numbers there, Carrie coming in with a whopping 45%. 45%, that's almost half of the team's damage in this entirety of this match in the 16-minute game. Carrie definitely leading the way, and also almost leading the way, going neck and neck with Leah Mord on the tower. So a bit of micro and macro coming in and getting it done on both sides as he does secure that victory in game 2 to go ahead and even it up 1-1 in this best of 3 in between Elite 10 and Blacklist.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is a best of 3, and what a turnaround. Blacklist able to close it out and take us to a game 3, and this is what we love to see. Teams competing even when their backs against the wall and under pressure. And the Blacklist, the American Blacklist, kind of showing their presence today in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. But like we said, this is a series of 3 and it is not over yet. Definitely place your votes. Do we see the Americanized version of Blacklist win Series 1, or do we see the Elite 10, the revampage of Straw Hats, kind of turn the tide in their favor and take the series? Don't go nowhere. Grab some popcorn, get some drinks. We'll be right back with you guys momentarily.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Yeah. Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Oh, and I've been thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Oh, no, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. I can feel you near when you're miles away. Yeah, you can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Land of the Dawn as we are on Season 1, Week 4, Day 2, Series 1 with Blacklist versus Elite 10. And right now, it's 1-1. Both teams taking a win. First game going into the hands of Elite 10, and the second game with the comeback into the hands of Blacklist. And now we are into Game 3 as both these teams are competing to try and close out the series.
That's right, Wheezy. Both teams neck and neck right now, 1-1 on this series. They are looking to go ahead and secure. This is a best of 3, folks. So this next win will determine who will walk away victorious in the scrim and who will go ahead and have to take it back to the drawing board with the defeat. Speaking of on the board, though, today's schedule, like we said, right after this, we have Demigods up against Wavo, and to finalize the scrims for tonight, Tank Dynasty, a new team looking to go ahead and start their own dynasty in the MLSA, up against Nefarious, as they will be our final matchup. But speaking of final matchups, we are into the pick and draft phase. Venus locking in that Faramis nice and early in the response with the Carmilla for Rainy on the side of Elite 10.
Man, oh man, Venus locking in this Faramis again. We've seen the same kind of response in Game 1, and it didn't really work into the hands of Blacklist, as we've seen that power of the Blessing of the Moon Goddess with that Estes on the side of Elite 10, able to do a little bit more for their team. So going forward, I'm going to expect a little bit more from Venus to kind of close this out. But speaking of closeouts, like you said, Carmilla being locked in, one of the meta picks for this season, able to have that Curse of Blood for that group CC and also chained damage. You're having Samurai over there on the Benedetta. We know how well she's performed for this season of MLBB. Having the ability to split push, create opportunity, go for objectives, sustainability, and mobility all in one. Is going to go ahead and lock in that Petrify as well for a little bit of CC with that Electo, that ultimate of those 1,000 blades stabbing you at once. While inside of that Petrify is definitely something you have to watch out for. But you are seeing Sai over there lock in that Fredrin. And we know how deadly Fredrin can be as well. Now the question is this a Fredrin in the jungle, or will this be a Fredrin in the XP lane? Fredrin in the XP lane can definitely get the job done as well, especially stacked up against that Benedetta, able to try and keep her at bay from those split push cuts. But I have to give it to Samurai, having a little bit more mobility on his side. If he can get around the Fredrin, you can see him creating a lot of opportunity for Elite 10.
And speaking of creating opportunity, Valir going to create some space for the side of Elite 10. We've seen them use this Valir. I think this is about the 4th, maybe 5th outing of them with Valir. They weren't able to secure all wins with it. I think they had one match they won, but no matter whether it was win or loss, Valir definitely one of those core picks that had consistent performance. It was used by the other mid laner from Elite 10 tonight, going to be put on into Ashiki's hands, but I expect similar results. It will be up against Sai on this Fredrin, which will be very hard for him to fight against. We know Fredrin likes to be up in your face, likes to close the distance, but Valir likes to keep everything at bay and draw the border with a little ring of fire, if you will. And also plays pretty nicely into Oh My Venus on the Faramis, able to kind of knock back that Shadow Stampede when the members group up for the Cult Altar, able to land a little more AoE damage and maybe potentially some CC for the side of Elite 10 to follow up on. And you pointed out, right, that Benedetta in the XP potentially up against Fredrin. I like that, right, on the side of Elite 10 with that Benedetta. Fredrin able to kind of duke it out and brawl it out with anyone in a 1v1 in the XP lane, but the mobility is where Elite 10 will have the edge. Fredrin very slow to clear those waves and to rotate on the map. Samurai having the upper hand. If he ignores the Fredrin, doesn't go get baited into the 1v1, clears the waves, and starts to rotate right to go make some plays for his team, kind of like how we've seen Carry do from Blacklist early in the game. Elite 10 will have that number advantage, a little edge. You can leave Fredrin to being nothing more than the cursed helmet, that XP lane, a cannon minion, if you will. And that's kind of the way they have to play that XP currently with this setup. But both teams have the team fight composition, a lot of utility. Valir, Carmilla from the side of Elite 10, Faramus and Fredrin from the side of Blacklist. Once the team fights start, it can go pretty much even between these teams when all 5 members are present currently. But speaking of present, we're seeing the Mia being hovered over, but no, gonna swap over for the Beatrix. And Weezy, we've seen it. Tell me about that Beatrix, as we have kept our eyes on it through the MLSA.
Man, Beatrix being a problem, right? Having the utility of multiple weapons at her disposal, right? You have Raynor kind of going in with that sniper. You have Wesker, the shotgun, to kind of get the job done when they are up close. You have Nimaru, you know, the machine gun, to kind of work in your favor as well, to keep those at bay with the Mirror's Passion, that AoE damage. And we've seen Beatrix kind of slotted a lot for the MLSA for those reasons. Very hard to kind of deal with her. She can kind of do it all in one, like that all-in-one package for the gold lane, scaling from mid all the way to late, but also able to be a presence in the early game. Speaking of presence, having that flicker to create a little bit more mobility as well. So looking at carry, I'm definitely expecting Hayao to be a little bit more aggressive, as he has that slight advantage over the carry. But when it goes to late game, we know how deadly a carry can be, bursting down those frontline compositions. They do have Benedetta, they do have Rainy, possibly the more of a tankier Benedetta on the way, as you're putting a lot into the hands of Rainy right now for this Carmilla. And I'm expecting this to possibly be a Carmilla roam, or possibly something we have seen slotted in the MLSA is a Valir roam. And I'm really excited to see which way this swings for the side of Elite 10.
Absolutely, and damage right now swinging into the favor of Blacklist. When they did lock in that Amon, hasn't been picked up much in the MLSA, but the damage is definitely there. And right now, Hellkirk being hovered over by the side of Elite 10. I would love to see that get picked up, but they have now hovered over Alucard. A little indecisiveness from the jungler of the Elite 10, but gonna go ahead and opt in for Amon's brother, the Gusion. Something we have seen in the MLSA, just like the Beatrix, one of those strong options if you want to get it done, if you want to secure a win. And that's exactly what you need in between these teams right now. Like we said, 1-1. The drafts have been finalized. Both teams looking to edge out and take this 2-1 victory. But Weezy, again, I have to ask you, man, putting you on the spot, mic back in your hand, who do you think is edging out right now as far as compositions, as far as draft, and with these win conditions?
Now, I'm definitely looking at this Amon, kind of threw me off guard, right? But it doesn't mean it doesn't work. But if I have to say overall draft composition, I'm definitely going to lean more into the favor of Blacklist this time, right? They have more CC capability. Yeah, you have the Valir on your side for Elite 10 to rush in with those burst fireballs to kind of stop those in their tracks. You have the Carmilla with the Curse of Blood, but outside of that, that's pretty much all the CC you have outside of that Petrify from Benedetta. Now, when you're looking into the hands of Blacklist, right, so you have a Fredrin. Not only does Fredrin have the Energy Eruption to kind of use that taunt against foes who try and rush in and cancel them from using their moves, but you also have a Lolita. You have that Numenon Blast to kind of, that AoE cone set for your team. And to top it off, you have a Faramus. Not only a Faramus, but a Faramus from a player named Venus. And if that's not scary, I don't know what is. So I'm definitely leaning more into the side of Blacklist for Game 3.
Definitely, and I do know it is scary. Both of these teams right now, knowing what's all at stake here, 1-1 elimination, the brink of it is going to scare both of these teams. They're going to have to play on their P's and Q's to secure this victory. Speaking of P's and Q's here, though, we are seeing Samurai get chased off after cutting that wave on the side of Blacklist, but now in the jungle, we are seeing an invade from Elite 10. They have the Valir, the Gusion, and the Carmilla, and they're looking to pick up that pace. They are now finding carries well joining to the 5, but members from Blacklist starting to rotate over. Rainy low, Ashiki also low on this Valir. The flicker from carry is going to go ahead and secure that first blood. Carmilla able to take off with that Cyclone, but now Gusion being chased as well. A good bit of micro there, able to find a way to go through the jungle, but ultimately going to get taken down by his brother Amon there. A little sibling rivalry, a little sibling clash, as Blacklist is now up early 3-0 off that failed invade from the side of Elite 10.
And when you kind of play aggressive like this, if it does not work in your favor, you lose a lot. Now 3-0, and that's going to allow the side of Blacklist to kind of open up for level 4 before this turtle even spawns in. And now, speaking of aggression, Akihiko getting a kill onto Faith.
Does find the kill there, finding the kill on Faith, and now looking to keep going in the jungle. They have secured the kill, looking to maybe pick up this red buff Valir, trying to keep them at bay with those fireballs. Finds a stun, but not going to get it done. Samurai getting forced back by that Shadow Stampede, but no, able to disengage from it with that Benedetta. As now Blacklist will go ahead and look to set up on this neutral objective after securing those kills. Samurai a little bit uncomfortable position there up against Fredrin. Duking it out right now. The Petrify coming out. Electro Flash also in as well. Side dangerously low, but Appraisal Wrap should be around the corner. But they're both going to go ahead and disengage as Blacklist starting to crowd up on this XP lane.
Speaking of crowd up, 4v1 situation. Marcy and Carry try and rush out, but not in time. Faith able to secure that kill. What a play! And that will be the first kill on the board for the side of Elite 10. But Turtle going into the hands of Blacklist.
Does go into the hands of Blacklist, and now a little late rotation though here. Disengage coming out from Valir, but not going to be in time as the Endless Shards comes from this Amon. He finds one, finds two. That's a double kill. So he does go ahead and take out Ashiki here, and then the XP lane Energy Eruption from Sai on this Fredrin. Appraisal Wrath coming down, taking Benedetta dangerously low, looking to close it out. An eye for an eye engage. Electro going to get taken down though from Sai. Going to go ahead and disrupt that play. Faith though on the rotation, maybe looking to find a low target. Throws the dagger to the bush, doesn't connect. Now the Incandescent's coming out, still not going to connect. All daggers missing. Not going to be able to trade that kill out on Sai, as Blacklist will come out on top 1-0 in that trade.
Now, if I'm the side of Elite 10 right now, I'm not taking these 5v5 fights. You're already down 7-1. Looking at the gold, already up by 2,000 into the hands of Blacklist. Looking at the items, already starting to get some of these core items picked up as well. You do see Molten Essence over there by Fredrin, kind of that beefier but magic damage composition. You see a little bit of invade into the jungle as well as they try and steal the red buff from Faith, and actually were able to secure it over there on Akihiko. An impressive play indeed. And like we said, when you play aggressive in the early game, you create the opportunity for these teams to kind of take you down and take the early phase. A little bit of a recap on what we've seen in the early game. We did see the heavy aggression from the side of, actually not even a little bit of a recap, a little bit of a troll on my system, but we did see the heavy pressure on that red buff from Elite 10 trying to close out a possible early steal, and they lost 3 members in that clash, and that 3 now is turned to 7-1. You do see a Numenon Blast going down, 2-man set.
Does find 2 members. Cultural being popped out right now. Faith in an uncomfortable position as he is taken out by his brother once again. Amon going to find that kill. Rain dropping low. Shadow Stampede going to connect and find that kill as Venus takes out the opposite roamer from the side of Elite 10. A quick 2-for-0 trade in favor of Blacklist International, who is looking to go ahead and close out this game as they are up 9-1.
Definitely up 9-1. An impressive game from the side of Blacklist. They're looking to close this out and take this series. You have to be very careful now on the side of Elite 10. This gold is stacking up. They're now up 4,000. Speaking of a clash, though, you are seeing Sai rush in Appraiser's Wrath.
Appraiser's Wrath with a flicker doing a lot of damage to Samurai again. Energy Eruption narrowly missing, but the side of Blacklist. Blood in the water, can smell it. Sharks on the hunt. Electro coming from Samurai as he does look to clear this wave. That's all he's going to be able to do, as they will go ahead and secure that kill. A 3v1 in the top side, and they take down the XP laner from Elite 10. Now going to be able to force down this tower up top, as they have gone ahead and completed that kill, but now Speed to complete. Oh my, Venus getting caught out there, but going to be forced to pop the Cult Altar. The members of Elite 10 looking at trade this out, and he just coming out from Faith Daggers, not getting it done though, not really connecting. Hayama's still working on that tower with that Bennett, but not going to be able to pick it up either as well. Elite 10 going to come out empty-handed as they look for the trade on the bottom side.
Man, oh man, what a clash. But 10-2 right now. Carry holding on to that bottom lane, and we know Carry had a little bit of disadvantage against Hayama, especially in the early game. But as we get later on in this match, you will start to see Carry kind of shine. But speaking of shining, though, Carry has a lot to kind of work with right now, as the gold is piling up for her team. Already having that Corrosion Sight, those Swift Boots as well. Hayama over there, though, trying to build up that Blade of Despair, and actually is going to go ahead and lock it in. But speaking of locked in,
Rainy getting caught in despair. Amon going in for the Endless Shards, taking Hayama dangerously low. A double kill getting picked up. Faith now caught in an uncomfortable position. Flicker Numian Blast not going to connect, but they already taken down 2 members once again in this bot side.
Man, oh man, what a play. 12-2 right now. And man, if you're the side of Elite 10, you have to find an answer. You need to make something work in your favor. You are seeing Boss KP kind of protect the marksman on the bottom side, but on the top side, Sai having an easier game with this Fredrin. Speaking of lanes though, Blacklist finding some answers. Is going to go ahead and take not only the bottom lane turret, but the mid lane turret as well. And this is going to open up the map for some additional clashes and a possible early finish.
Definitely can look for an early finish as the early snowball being completed from the side of Blacklist. 8 kills right for Akio there on that jungle. Amon getting it done up against his brother Faith 1 and 3 right now, having a hard time, but Blacklist not having a hard time taking down this neutral objective as they will find that turtle. And the top side though, we are seeing Sai. They are seeing Sai here being pushed down here. Samurai looking to find the kills. Members of Elite 10 looking to take him down. Ashiki going to take him down with the Valir. That's a trade there, but not before Sai can go ahead and take down Benedetta. A 1-for-1 trade. Not what you really want from Elite 10. You're looking to find something without having a response. Rainy though. Cursed Blood dropping down. Links have connected. Cult Altar though from the side of Oh My Venus. Dagger missing from Faith. Ashiki's trying to keep that pressure up. Now the Numian Blast return engaged. Now they haven't found any kills. Not going to find the set, but not going to find any kills as well. Like we just said, Blacklist doing a good job of disengaging and keeping those members alive from the side of Black. And now Elite 10 also as well, still trying to keep going, trying to find a way to secure something in this match. They have been getting taken down by Blacklist time and time again. They're still down 13-3 off of that early stomp, early flopping from the side of Elite 10, and that was all from that one failed invade. Now Amon camping out, looking for a potential target here as the members of Elite 10 in the mid, who might find Faith here as he does pop the endless shards. He does secure that kill. What a play. Curse League's coming down, but a Numian Blast from the backside. Gonna find Hayama in the background. Naru's Passion, though, coming out from this Beatrix does pop the shield, the Cult Altar, but not able to find a kill as Blacklist will take down 2 members from Elite 10. Now the rest of recall, but Shadow Stampede from Oh My Venus almost catching Rainy in that recall animation. Blacklist imposing their will, looking to close out this match.
Yeah, definitely a closeout indeed. If you're just looking at the pace of this game, right, the overextension, the heavy aggression rush from the side of Elite 10, able to get 1 kill, but still having a hard time closing this game out. You are going to have to see some answers from the side of Blacklist, not Blacklist, but Elite 10 if they want to stay in this game, possibly grouping together, getting online. 15-3, all odds are not in their favor, and you are seeing Blacklist waste no time. They're going to go ahead and take this Lord, and that's going to create the opportunity to push in some more of these towers. But speaking of pushes,
we're seeing the Electro Flash coming from Samurai. Cult Altar being popped out. They will go ahead and disengage. Some utility burnt from the side of Blacklist International from that quick little scuffle between Elite 10 that they wisely go ahead and back off, though. Might have just been a play, right, to burn out that utility, which Blacklist has so much of right now with that Fredrin, Foramus, and Lolita 3-man combo in the front line.
Man, oh man, speaking of combos, looking at these items and how they're kind of faring off so far. You are seeing this Foramus on the Venus. Go ahead and screenshot that build. Gonna go with those magic shoes for the CDR, Enchanted Talisman for additional CDR as well. The Lightning Truncheon being built up as well. Speaking of building though, you are seeing a possible clash over on this blue buff, but Elite 10 deciding to kind of push off. Blue buff did go into their hands, but Akihiko getting a kill.
Does find a kill on that Valir. Man down from the side of Elite 10. Not exactly at the moment you want to see it happen, as Lord is barreling in on the bot side. The members of Blacklist did a good job of sinking those waves. Lord on the bot tower. The members of Blacklist forming up in the mid inhibitor, but the Minizuki taken out from that tower passive. But now it is out of the way. Lord has also been taken out the way. Elite 10 doing a good job of taking that out as they are on the defense. But Numian Blast currently lined up. Gonna find Hayama in the background, the only member, and gets taken out by the Endless Shards from this Amon. Now Carry finding that mid inhibitor tower. Fredrin gonna take a little bit of Shiki, gonna find that killer 1-for-1 trade so far as kills, but a tower down, an inhibitor down from the side of Elite 10. Electro Flash coming out, not gonna connect. That Curse Link gonna fall on Oh My Venus alone though, and the side of Elite 10's gonna go ahead and disengage, not able to find much. A 1-for-1 trade like we said, but losing multiple towers, 2 inhibitors if you want to go ahead and count them out there. Left with 1 for the defense, and Blacklist on a good job of pressuring the side of Elite 10 to go ahead and end this match.
You know, you're seeing a little bit of that pressure, right? They tried to rush in, tried to get a kill, but Lord did go into the hands of Blacklist. And what did they do with this, right? They kind of made their way up that mid lane, took some more towers in their disposal, leaving the side of Elite 10 down to their inhibitors, and now possibly clashing over the red buff. Down goes Rainy.
Down goes Rainy indeed. The front line already out from the side of Elite 10, and Blacklist knows it as they are pressuring Faith dangerously low, but able to go ahead and disengage. All thanks to Ashiki on the Valir, but Blacklist, like we said, knowing the numbers are down, potentially could go and look for this end. They do have it for Rammus. They do have the Cult Altar, so a siege possible, but it looks like they might just wait for this Lord to spawn and gonna do it the right way, the proper way. A team of this caliber, high ranking in the MLSA, will look to go ahead and just properly use that Lord. Right, that's all you have to do. They're currently posturing around that mid-river, around that jungle, to make sure Elite 10 doesn't have any forward advancement, and it will potentially go for an ambush. Speaking of ambush, those Samurai trying to alleviate some pressure in that top side, cutting a wave. Blacklist going to go ahead and respond. Elite 10 will try to push up on this bot side with a little bit of an opening there. 3 members down in that bot lane. Rainy leading over the charge in the river side by himself. Members are starting to group up here. Blacklist is now swinging back. 4 members down the river, as we do see the XP laners in the top. But this 4v4 will probably convince Boskip knows the members are in the bush. Shield going up. Rainy going to drop that curse link, but quickly getting burst down right now as Carry's doing a lot of damage. Found his way into the back line, getting stunned. The boost badge coming out from this Beatrix, not connect, but double kill from the side of Amon, finding 2 members from the side of Elite 10, definitely connecting with that damage as they do pick up that Lord. And Elite 10 on the back now, 20-4, reeling as members have been dropped. They lost Rainy, they lost Faith. They currently in a 3v5 position. Speaking of positions, a 1v1 going on the top side, catching Samurai, a flicker stampede from Omega Omega kill coming into Oh My Venus as he picks it up with a tongue twister. Carry trying to end this game right here. Minions piling in, but that Lord also going to come in down in the mid lane, even with the members of Elite 10 coming in. All inhibitors are gone. 5 members, 4 right now, 4 members in the Nexus currently on the defense. Samurai might not make it in time on that spawn, might leave Elite 10 down a member. Maybe 2 if you want to count this enhanced Luminous Lord as it is crashing in. Bennett's Rage coming in from this Beatrix, but Ashiki can take him out the endless shards to the side of Blacklist is forcing down that tower. Carry will close out this match. Blacklist 2-1 victory in their first outing in this best of 3 scrim.
Man, oh man, Blacklist just on fire, kind of dominating in that match. What a play. You kind of seen it, like we said, with these Lord pushes, kind of capitalizing, taking these inhibitors and forcing the Elite 10 on the back end. And this is what you have to do if you want to take these games and make them work into your favor. Not only did they take the game, but they took the series. A little bit of a look at the data, though, as you are seeing Blacklist over there on carry, kind of dominating so far with that turret pushes. Look at this, 64%. But on the side of Elite 10, 100% for Hayama, but just not enough to get the job done by himself. And that will be the game, but definitely an interesting game indeed. And that'll be Series 1 today. Shout out to both teams competing. For those who are brand new, we are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and our whole focus is to help these teams prepare for future NA events such as MPL. If you guys are interested in signing up, if you're looking for a team to play with, we have all of that provided on the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy Discord service. What are you guys waiting on? Stop by, sign up either if you're a solo player or if you're coming with a team. Go ahead and register your team and compete. If you are a solo player, a lot of these teams are looking for members, so definitely stop by and check out our post or our section to kind of register yourself and kind of put your stats on there for teams to look at, such as the ones you've seen play today. Like we said, this is only Series 1. Today, we still have Demigods versus Suevo in a best of 3. Follow that for Series 3 to close out the day. We are going to be seeing Tang Dynasty versus Nefarious. Grab some popcorn, get some drinks, and we'll be right back with you guys for Series 2.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
course, Honey Bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Yeah. Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your whips and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah. You can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, Honey Bunch.
I'm gonna cast one. Spiking up to 1,000 at the VC.
Oh, it's up to you. I mean, you know, I can't hear anything, but it's up to you.
Yeah, because I'm on push to talk, but I can't cast on push to talk. I have to have it.
Oh, okay. All good, all good, all good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start this up. Oh wait, whenever Bombshell's ready.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, Honey Bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Yeah. Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Oh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Oh, no, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. Woo! I can feel it when you're miles away. Yeah, you can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Land of the Dawn. We are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. I have two amazing casters along my side, MLSA staff at their finest. Coach Deku Going to be jumping on some of the play-by-play today, a little bit of analysts, and also Rim is going to be handling business on the analyst side of things. But speaking about business, let's take a look at today's schedule. We are going to be seeing Demigods versus Huevo, Series 2 in a best of 3. And then to finish off the day, Tang Dynasty, a team we have never seen before in the MLSA, face off against a crowd favorite Nefarious. But speaking of the game so far, Huevo versus Demigods, best of 3. Huevo, a team that's top 32 in North America, and Demigods, the team from the Wild Wild West, kind of wreaking havoc last week in the MLSA and also in the Land of Dawn. So I'm super excited to see what they bring to the table. Do they have what it takes to take down a top 32 in a team?
Do they have what it takes indeed? And we've seen a lot from these newer teams, Demigods this week, and a little bit of last week, Nova Corps as well. And just in the previous match, Blacklist International, right, getting it done against Elite 10. These new teams are not playing around and looking to shake up the rankings in the MLSA. This will be the first match in this best of 3 series, and we will go ahead and transfer over to the draft.
Speaking of draft, now y'all know last game I saw Demigods played, I was a little disappointed in them sets. But speaking of sets, I see them setting up the bands here and seeing some of these strong meta picks being picked off. Carmilla taken off the board. We see the Leomord. We've seen in previous matches that he's wrecked chaos in the Land of Dawn. So it's a really good draft. Speaking of good drafting, would we see this newly revamped Hanabi pull it off in that mid lane? I don't know how it's gonna perform yet. I personally have not seen it in action, but as we all know, Huevo does pick these wildcard picks and drafts. So I'm excited to see how they're gonna draft around this Hanabi pick.
Oh my goodness, you're right. I just realized Hanabi has been revamped, and to kind of see her slotted in a tournament fashion, excited to see what Yukinon kind of pulls off with her. Even the profile pic of Hanabi right there, a little bit of makeup, a little bit of polish on it, may be the difference that Hanabi needed. But speaking of differences, you are seeing the unnamed sniper DG over there for Demigods locking in that Beatrix. He's kind of trying to become the trifecta, right? We already have the duo, the twin brothers, Mar over there kind of dominating on the marksman, especially with Beatrix. But to see DG come up, the unnamed marksman, do it as well, is exciting to see. The question is, how will this fare off? We know Hanabi's newly revamped, so we're all wondering, how meta is it? Is it even meta at all? As Hanabi was one of those marksmen that was never ever slotted, even in classic games. So to see this kind of picked up in a tournament fashion, I'm expecting Huevo to have properly kind of mastered her mechanics. But speaking of mechanics though, Durza locking in that signature favorite, that Hylos inside of the XP lane, and then Daizu is going to go ahead and lock in that Eve.
It's going to lock in that Eve. A lot of utility being picked up for the mid laner of the side of Huevo. We've seen the Eve be a critical component in some of these teams, even in the last series that we got to see between Elite 10 and their matchup there. The Eve was a critical part in that game 1 win. Looking to do the same here between Huevo and DG. But when we're speaking about comforts, we have to look over inside of DG. Bombshell with that Martyrs performing with Demigods when he did have this exact same pick. I actually got to cast them up against in another tournament up against the minorities or beat the odds, and Bombshell performing just the same as well with this Martyrs, getting it done on both ends and making some great plays. So I'm very interested to see him in the MLSA with this Martyrs. But speaking of things, we're going to see Oh My Venus locking in that Diggy, living up to the name, living up to the queen status as the support god. Going to be looking to make some plays with that time journey and maybe stop plays from the side of Huevo with this final pick in the first half of the phase.
Speaking of plays, I do like what I'm seeing so far. We know Hanabi, right? Even with her revamp, she's still lacking that escapability. We see her lacking the flicker. However, Huevo slotting in that Hylos and that Yve, those high ground and frontline presence that they have is definitely gonna make her shine, especially as her revamp, she no longer has to, activate a skill for her passive to bounce and deflect upon, different enemies. So when you think about that in team fights, as well as the utility coming in from both Yve and Hylos with the slows as well as the continuous damage, as well as the damage being put in by the Hanabi pick there, I definitely see the vision. It's all going to come down to execution. Speaking of execution, we do see them banning out Yu Zhang and the Armand, which we saw popped off in the last game. So I think they were looking at the stream. They know these potential as well. Speaking of knowing potential, Huevo banning out the Faramis pick there because they want to just have one clean team fight ended. We're not going to do this round 2. It's just one round and done.
Yeah, this is interesting to see kind of go forward. Banning out that Yu Zhang, but you are going up against an Eve, and I'm wondering if they thought they would take Yu Zhang to counteract the side of Blacklist picking it. But looking at Human Bird, what's the word? Is going to go ahead and lock in that Esmeralda. One of those heroes we typically see split push and create that opportunity. And even though a slight nerf did go to her, still being able to fulfill that role with no problems. But speaking of problems, something we really haven't seen too often. Wu's going to go ahead and lock in this Hilda. Now, Hilda does have the ability to kind of hide in the bush, get a little bit of shield, and stay in that fight. Definitely a good front line with sustainability and burst potential. But the question is, how does it fare off in this meta? And also, fair enough, you're going to expect Wu to rush in for the backlines, like trying to take out DG over there on that Beatrix and possibly taking out whatever mage the side of Blacklist decides to slot in. Is this a Diggy mage? Do they actually full-blown go Diggy roam and take a different mage for the mid lane? As we are progressing through this draft, picks are being shown, and Carl Cutie is going to go ahead and lock in this Karina.
Locking in that Karina, we do know Carl Cutie to be an assassin lover, an assassin man in his own rights. So the Karina pick, nothing too left field for them. The Hanabi is going to be pretty much as strange as it gets. And for the side of Huevo, locking in with that Hilda as well, that's saying a lot. But Wu, putting in that Hilda right, did have a lot of adjustments, namely to the passive. They did rework it a bit. It was based on stacks before. I think now, reaching that full stack potential, you get around 36%. I want to say 36% hybrid, and so magic and defense getting stripped no matter what size. So I guess you can call it adaptive if you would want to say it, namely, which is kind of what Moonstone has been pushing, right? Even with some of those new items. So Hilda going to be able to enable some damage from not only Yukinon or Durza here, but the whole team, right? Being able to do damage with that pick. And speaking of those picks, though, Atlas going to finalize for the side of Blacklist. Those drafts have been locked in. We're hitting the loading screen, and casters, co-casters, co-captain, co-host. I don't know what we're going to call our trio here, but who y'all think or expect to see win? Rim, we'll start with you.
Now, I'm definitely in favor of the Huevos draft. I'm really having high expectations of seeing how they play with this Hanabi. Like I mentioned before, they have the frontline presence and the utility to protect her so she can deal that, continuous damage. And the side of Demigods, they locked in that ADC, and we all know it's not the Leslie or the carry to tank and shred those, tanky comp lines that Huevo has.
Yes, interesting to see, but I've got to give it to Huevo as well. Just the fact that they have this Hilda, they're more up-to-date with the patch notes right now, and I'm excited to see how Hanabi kind of fares off. But I will say they have a lot of wild card picks in their draft. But, I mean, Norbert running that Alice in the mid lane, I mean, it works typically, too. We've kind of been seeing this be slotted more recently for the MLSA. So I got to say, a little bit of wild card picks for both sides, but like I said, watching this Hanabi, definitely keeping my eyes on her to see how Yukinon performs against the Beatrix. But speaking of performance, looking at the bottom lane, you are seeing Durza on at that signature pick, and we know how well comfort picks kind of lead the battle, and especially on at that Hylos, a lot of players have a hard time dealing against it, as you are seeing right now. Human Bird forced on the retreat, and Durza kind of winning that lane in terms of minions.
Absolutely, and Hylos used to be an infamous pick up against the Esmeralda, up against the Yu Zhang. Speaking of picks, going up against Wu, applying pressure in that jungle and bombshell on this Martis. But yeah, that XP lane is going to be an interesting battle, interesting story indeed. It can go pretty even, but with Hylos, I think has a little bit of an edge. Like you kind of pointed out, we are seeing him kind of press up against this Esmeralda, up against Human Bird. Carl Cutie, though, here to be able to provide some assistance potentially but able to go ahead and disengage there. But yeah, both sides are going to be able to apply pressure. Speaking of pressure,
You do see a possible clash. Decimation going in. First blood into the hands of Bombshell over there on that Martis. Go ahead, pave the early game. And we all know how well Martis can do it, especially in the hands of a good jungler for the MLSA. But speaking of jungler, you do see Carl Cutie focusing on the turtle.
is focusing on the turtle. Durza doing a good job of zooming Esmeralda here, as Carl Cutie will go ahead and pick that up uncontested. And now in the mid lane, Norbert getting forced out with that blood old with the Alice. Human Bird and Durza still going at it in this XP lane, definitely duking it out. Both times going low, but no one getting committed on now. Woo, an uncomfortable position here by Bombshell with the Martis Decimation getting popped, slain, another kill. But Carl Cutie coming in with the Shadow Assault, the trade out on Oh My Venus. He came out of nowhere, a streak of lightning there as he is able to find a kill.
Speaking of kills, a little bit of a request for a pause on the way. So, man, oh man, a little bit of a breakdown so far on what we're seeing. 2-1 right now into the hands of Demigods. We've seen Karina Carl Cutie pick up a kill of his own, but a little bit of a response. Bombshell getting 2 kills, and both of them being the junglers for their team. It's going to give a little bit more gold advantage into the hands of Bombshell. But speaking of gold, we did see the turtle go to the side of Huevo. So interesting trades indeed, and I think both teams kind of evening it out on the board. But the question is, how do we progress? Who can take the early game, and who can take these little micro and macro plays and make the most of it going forward?
Speaking of, we are going to jump back into the game. We see the side of Demigods. We got a farming. And speaking of getting farm, we saw Carl Cutie able to steal that blue buff, which is definitely going to give him the advantage in any upcoming team fights there.
Definitely in a little scuffle there in between Durza and Esmeralda, now getting to the point where he is now cutting the waves up against this Esmeralda, who is not able to go ahead and stop him. Speaking of stop, Wu, though, getting pointed out and focused on by the members of Demigods, forcing out that vengeance as well from him. He is 0-2, being caught out just here and there, but now a potential clash in the river. We are seeing the engage.
Ooh, they are going again. You do see robot manipulation going down.
Is going down the Bruce Passion coming out from this Beatrix. Not going to find anything though.
But the Glorious Pathway going in, and down goes Venus to Woo. What a play indeed. 3-2 right now. And that's the pressure you get when you slot this Hylos inside of that XP position. You also allow the utility of that Glorious Pathway, which provided that mobility for an additional kill in that trade.
Ooh, a trade there between both of these teams, and now a cut for a cut. Now Esmeralda looking to do the same to Durza here. Able to clear out this wave, but again, that ring of punishment from Durza slowing him down quite a bit on that rotation. Now so we'll take the Cyclone to go out. The side of Demigods focusing in on this turtle, but Huevo here, Wu in the background, looking for a potential pick off.
You see robot manipulation going down, and Yukinon over there on that Hanabi to kind of close the deal off, and down goes Venus. Now 4-2 into the hands of Huevo.
And speaking of things going down, Esmeralda finding that turtle, and Martis finding a kill, a double kill for him, as now Wu is flying in on Norbert here, the Alice.
Ooh, trying to get away, but wait a minute. Wu trying to rush in, trying to get a kill over there on that Hilda, but Norbert able to get out just in time.
Now we're seeing Daizu on the assistance on the backup. They weren't able to secure that blue, but we're able to get a kill up in that top side and trade for the turtle. Both teams doing a good job, as it is even, like literally even. 14.2k from both sides, 4 kills from both sides on the board. These two teams definitely of the same caliber right now. If you let the storyteller from the scoreboard and the economy going neck and neck, no one currently getting the edge.
Speaking of neck and neck though, Wu rushing into Bombshell, but wait a minute, you are seeing a little bit of a clash from Norbert rushing in onto Daizu.
Got the blood ode, the flicker in on Daizu, gonna force Daizu to try to escape.
Ooh, wait a minute though, Norbert rushing back in for the fight. Blood ode activated again.
Carl Cutie trying to find an opening, nothing there yet. Wu and Bombshell facing off, Mortal calls in.
Ooh, but Blade of Despair picked up by DG on the top side. It's going to be some high DPS. Wu rushing in, trying to get a possible pick off.
Gonna get pulled back by Diggy Blodo, gonna find that kill.
Reward manipulation going down. Possibly able to get a kill. Blood Ode activated by Norbert. Carl Cutie on the retreat.
Yukinon finding a kill in the back line. Now more engaged.
Glorious Pathway by Durza rushing in, trying to get a kill onto Human Bird.
Esmeralda on the run here. Yuki and Durza looking to catch Norbert out in the jungle.
But wait, does he escape? Blood Ode activated, trying to get a kill, 1-for-1. No, wait, Daizu taking him down over there on Eve.
From the side of Weibo, edging out the trade, edging out the economy ever so slightly. So they do come out on top now, 6-5 on that board, and a little bit of a lead, 1K gold lead to be exact, as they will start up this turtle.
Somebody said, seriously, Hanabi. You know, I was wondering how Hanabi would kind of fare off here, but look at Hanabi right now, 2-0-4. I think Hanabi saying, seriously, Beatrix? Like, as Yuki not taking the lead in the gold lane.
Taking the lead indeed. The side of Weibo doing a good job, but a little lull in the action. Wait, might have spoke too soon. Blue forcing out the time journey.
Juicing Namir's passion, connecting, able to get a kill, shutting down Yukinon for Beatrix and able to escape. But Blood Ode activated by Norbit for a little bit of peel on to Beatrix, and both sides deciding to kind of disengage.
Now that they've disengaged, a little lull in the action. Rim, could you potentially step in here and give us a little rundown of the items that we are currently seeing?
Speaking of items, we see Hanabi picking up that corrosion sight and that demon hunter sword, which is going to help her dish out the damage. We saw that she was dealing damage, but now that's definitely going to give her the edge. We see Hilda with the dominance ice definitely going to help that Alice have a hard time. Speaking of getting a hard time, though, we may see a team fight happening here.
We saw Mortal Pulse come down.
Daizu going in, trying to get a kill.
A lot of action going on in the mid. Two members down for the side of Demigods. No answer, though, from the side of Demi Weibo, picking up the pace as Carl's going to go for the recall, but in the back line.
You see Falling Star move from Human Bird, trying to get some possible damage in, but in the process, DG, the silent sniper, is going to go ahead and take that top tower.
Does find the tower, and DG might have been kind of uncomfortable position. The tower dive in.
Glorious Pathway connecting and stampeding through, and down goes DG.
Oh my, Venus coming in with a late time journey, still standing there on the tower, needs to learn from the previous mistake there and go ahead and give it up. His Weibo will go ahead and take it, but in the mid lane, Blood Ode in between Carl Cutie and Norbert here.
You see a little bit of that Oracle picked up behind Norbert for some more sustainability on this Alice. And this is not just any Alice, this is Alice in the mid lane. Speaking of Alice though, Blood Ode going down on to Norbert.
Absolutely, not just Alice in the mid lane, but Alice in the face of Weibo, looking to provide a little bit of damage. But gonna go ahead and go for the disengage as Weibo will start transitioning their focus to other important things in the map, like this Lord, as we do see three members now shifting up to go ahead and position in this river, taking out some of those Diggy Bombs along the way.
Speaking of Diggy Bomb, connecting on to Wu, a little bit of a pullback with CC.
We do see Norbert using that mobility to his advantage, getting slightly caught out ever so slightly, but able to go ahead and maneuver out of the damage there. Speaking of damage, though, we are seeing a little bit of this river ambush potentially. Carl Cutie getting hungry, but the Diggy Bomb's doing the job. Woo going in, might have overstepped just a little bit, but side of Demigod's not going to punish. Weibo going to go ahead and force this Lord, as they do force a flicker as well from Diggy.
GC Wu with a little bit of the zonage, trying to hold back DG and Venus from pushing into this objective. And yes, it goes into the hands of Carl Cutie.
And thing going to the hands of Wu, and a little bit of a pump fake, gonna force Venus to use the time journey prematurely and now in the mid lane.
Wu trying to rush in, Wu trying to get a possible pick off, but Namir's passion going down.
A flicker going in, Blood Ode from Norbert trying to get out of the midst of this fight. Wu, a little bit of a pullback.
The manipulation popping down over there by Even. Bombshell with the decimation. Carl Cutie taking out Bombshell in the process of 1-for-1 trade.
Daizu still holding the ultimate down, keeping Diggy at bay. The Lord coming down the mid side. Three members from the side of Demigods looking to defend this Lord push.
Norbert with the Blood Ode, but is it enough to hold off the team of Weibo?
Is Carl Cutie with the Shadow Assault will find the kill.
Ooh, but in the same time, Beatrix getting a kill as well. Down goes Carl Cutie, a 1-for-1 trade, and down goes the Lord.
Down goes the Lord, but down goes two members of Demigods as Durza is now slowly, and I mean really slowly, chipping away at that tier 2 tower with this Hylos. But now at the top side, we're seeing Yukinon and Daizu try to force it out.
The 2v2 situation, but wait, looks like the odds are in favor for both sides now. 3-3. Wu rushing in, possibly getting a little bit of vision, but Bombshell in position to clear off these minions.
Speaking of bombs, Wu been doing a good job of eating these Diggy Bombs, eating the pullback, taking a lot of damage though, but with Hilda, you know the sustainability is there. Walking to a bush, passive is going to activate and be able to heal up some of that damage that's being taken. Speaking of things being taken, Durza might be taken advantage of here.
Using the Glorious Pathway, trying to escape, Revitalize, popping down for some HP, but Norbit taking down Durza.
Able to find that kill. Wu in the background trying to find an opening, then just going to get forced out from the side of Wavo.
But both sides deciding to disengage. DG over there with the Namir's Passion, kind of putting that pressure, forcing Huevo on the retreat. But now 13-9.
And 11 minutes into the game, Rim, give us another breakdown of these items. Tell us what we're seeing being picked up between these two teams.
Speaking of items being picked up, we see Esmeralda securing her first 3 core items, which we know is going to help her be able to sustain these fights. Speaking of fights, we do see the side of Huevo coming in on her.
Bird trying to run away. A little bit of a awkward entanglement. That's a funny word for the year, right? But Wu rushing into the back line. A little bit of some supreme vision right now, but I'm wondering, what is the game plan?
The game plan indeed. Towers going down from the side of Wavo. We can see what their game plan is. That is the end. This match is Durza is finding his way into the background here.
Namir's Passion over there by DG.
Falling Star Moon coming in from the side of Esmeralda.
You do see manipulation going down. You cannot get a kill on to Esmeralda.
That's one member down from the side of Demigods. Esmeralda finding, Atlas finding a kill as well.
You do see Wu with a response taking down Hilda, and a mega kill by Daizu. Down goes Beatrix, and Venus finishing it off. He's going to go ahead and take out Yukinon on this Hanabi. Now, we've talked about it. How do you guys feel Hanabi kind of fares in the gold lane now?
I mean, right now, 5-2-9 up against the powerhouse that is Beatrix, looking pretty good. If we're going off the basis of what Wavo's doing to Demigods right now.
Oh, Master Rim, with your wise words, please let us know what do you think about the build so far for Hanabi?
I mean, Quavo is one of those teams that they experiment and they test a lot. I haven't seen anyone build a demon staff on her, so that's a very interesting item. But speaking of interesting, it has been working. She has been dealing the damage. Speaking of dealing damage here,
in the mid, we see the real world get dropped down.
You do see Wu getting a kill on to Martis.
Norbert trying to escape the fight, but Wu on the chase here. Bennett.
Ooh, Carl Cutie able to secure that Lord as well. Beatrix getting a kill onto Wu.
And now the members of Demigods on the retreat, but Carl Cutie with the double shadow assault, gonna find a member down from the side of Demigods.
And now you are seeing Lord kind of make his way in the mid lane, and now all the side of Pueblo has to do is kind of sink these minions. But the question is, can they pull it off? Probably take some more real estate on the map, as you are seeing the marksman down and also the jungler. That is 2 members down to kind of contest against this Lord, pushing into that mid inhibitor.
Absolutely, with the Glorious Pathway inbound through the inhib.
Manipulation going down by Eve.
Time Journey getting forced out from the side of Demigods that are on the recall.
Norbert joining the fight with the Blood O, but quickly bursted down by Yukinon.
That's a 1-for-0 trade so far in favor of Wavo as Lord is taken out.
And also 2 towers, leaving only the bottom inhibitor for the side of Demigods. And the question is, can they hold off against the offensive tempo that Huevo is putting on today?
And we're getting an answer right now as Wavo's crashing down on that bot inhibitor.
Ooh, you do see Wu rushing into the base, but not enough mobility, and down he goes to Esmeralda.
Down goes Esmeralda, and a quarter of the health of the Nexus being taken out. Wavo, though, looking to go on the retreat as they have cracked the entire base of Demigods. Only 5 members in the Nexus left on the line to help them secure a victory in this best of 3 currently in between Demigods and Wavo.
Speaking of best
speaking of crap though,
uh-oh.
I think that Hilda might be on a little something, because I didn't see a pause request come in, but they just ran into the fountain like that. I don't know who they were looking for down there, but they only found their own demise. So I don't know what's happening. But speaking of what's happening, we do see some items coming in here. We just saw Call Cutie picking up the immortality to help him sustain these fights a little longer. We see, looking at Alice, she has the utility. She picked up the Dominance Ice as well as the Ice Queen one. Speaking of dominance,
We
are seeing the concealed play coming from the side of Wavo.
Ooh, but can they make the most of his? Carl Cutie rushing in with the Shadow Assault.
On the chase with Human Birdie, but Oh My Venus finding a kill on Wu.
Amir's Passion over there by DG into the manipulation, but
Yukinon finding a kill on Norbert there. The members of Demigods reeling.
Oh, Falling Star Moon trying to escape, but a double kill over on Hanabi for Yukinon.
Wavo looking to end the game right here, right now. Shut down in the hands of Beatrix.
I'm not gonna lie, I gave Yukinon a nickname Nukinon, and I think that might be the new name for him as the Nexus is going down to a thread. Bombshell trying to defend.
Good Mortal Coils coming in, but now the return. Shadow Assault from Carl Cutie.
Falling Star Moon going down. Immortality procced on Carl Cutie, but they are going for a possible finish.
3 members from the side of Wavo looking to end it right here, right now, and they will close out this first match. This best of 3, going up 1-0 against Demigods.
Man, oh man, what a game. And Wavo finishing strong, showing the world why they are a top 32 in a team.
Absolutely.
We're going to break it down for us what we're looking at, these MVPs, these items, and even the statistics when we get to that side of things.
I mean, it's just like we said, we were curious about how the Hanabi was gonna do in this match, and definitely deserved that MVP. Looking at the items, she had the physical penetration, she had the anti-heal as well. So they honestly, the full side of Huevo, I think each one of them has an item that cuts down on the healing. So that Alice and Esmeralda definitely had a hard time getting online and making a major impact on this game. And we see that these teams are so good at itemization. Speaking of itemization, though, I want to focus on some of the statistics of this match. So looking at the stats, Hanabi, 91% team fight participation. As a Hanabi, usually when we get Hanabis in our games, she's bronze. You know, she's AFK. She's as good as a minion at that point. Speaking of minions, we do see on the side of Demigods, I'm speechless. I'm sorry. The Hanabi doing so well this game is making this so hard for me to analyze, because it's the first time I've ever seen Hanabi dominate in a fashion like this.
Definitely seeing Hanabi kind of on the rise. Some of the comments are like, Hanabi, why Hanabi? Well, I think the question is, why not? Hanabi may be the new marksman for the MLSA, as time will tell. But definitely first time we've seen Hanabi slotted, and also the first time Hanabi's won in the MLSA. So definitely a double history in the making there. And excited to possibly see her slotted a little bit more. Gave a little bit of that nickname. We said Yukinon, but turned it into Nukinon to kind of close that game out. But speaking of games, this is just one battle in the wars. This is a series of 3. Huevo going up against the Demigods. Now, we did see Huevo win game 1, but the question is, can they keep up that pressure? Can they keep up that tempo and get the sweep? Or will we see the side of Demigods, the team from the Wild Wild West, come back and even out this series? Find out shortly. Get some popcorn, get some drinks, and we'll be right back with you guys for game 3.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Yeah. Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you, the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah. You can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Land of the Dawn as we are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. A little bit of a correction before we kind of exited the show. We are on game 2, and this is Demigods versus Huevo. We've seen Huevo kind of capitalize on game 1, able to take that win against Demigods. Question is, can Huevo keep up that tempo? Can they close out the series with a sweep? Or will we see Demigods on the rise to kind of even out the playing field?
And I don't know about you, and I don't know about you either, Rim, but for me, I'm definitely looking to see this go 1-1. I love seeing it go the distance. I want to see the best of 3 in its entirety. I do appreciate a good sweep. I can't stop that. If there's just too much power coming from one side, which Huevo might have, as we did see them kind of roll over the side of Demigods with that unorthodox drafting that we have seen from them in previous series, a little bit of dynamic drafting, we like to call it, on their keys to victory. And speaking of dynamic drafting, there it is already. Ahead of the curve, Reed locking in that Nathan in those first 2 picks from the side of Huevo.
Speaking of locking in some strong picks, I've noticed so far from the last game, we saw them locking the Hanabi on the side of Huevo. They're locking in some heroes that recently got buffed in these recent patches. So they definitely do their research with the mechanics of the game to see what heroes that they can use and implement in drafts. Speaking of heroes being implemented in drafts, a hero that we haven't seen allowed and only a few times where teams have given up to Kush from Ackerman, the Fanny, locking in on the side of Huevo, giving it to Call Cutie, who, as we all know, is a masterful assassin and Fanny player as well. So I'm excited to see how they're gonna use this Fanny in this draft here.
You make a good point. Like, a lot of teams kind of overlook the Fanny, and we haven't been seeing a lot of teams ban it out. You have to keep in mind there are some of those players who have perfected her cabling, and Carl Cutie definitely one who has done exactly that. You mentioned Kush over there on Ackerman, United States #6 Fanny. When teams let that walk, he definitely does all the talking and takes the game with an early finish. And now, in the hands of Carl Cutie, it's definitely have to be something you need to watch out for. But in the defense for demigods, right? They do have Norbit on that Nana. A little bit of a counter to go against it, and also a Cho with the Way of the Dragon. So Carl Cutie needing to be a little bit careful on his engagements. As we know, the purpose of Fanny is to kind of pave that way in the early game, get those pickoffs, and turn the tide in your favor for an early finish. But we are looking at DG, the unnamed marksman, picking up that Wanwan. Not only a Wanwan, but stacked up with that Inspire. We know how hard that is to kind of deal with, especially in the early phase. Wanwan, one of those few heroes who can get that crossbow tang activated and get a potential wipeout if you're not careful on how you engage. But a direct response, Ree picking up that Nathan. I'm really excited to see how this kind of plays out. I know Deku mentioned a little bit of wildcard drafting for the side of Huevo sometimes cost them. And to see the Nathan kind of slotted in the early phase, not even just early phase, one of their first picks in the draft, got you wondering how well it will play in to DG on this Wanwan for the Gold Blade.
And we gotta point out here, man, a lot of magic damage banned out from the side of DG. I don't know if they got a bias against magic damage, but Eve, Valentina, Karina, Lilia, and Faramis, all magic damage dealers banned out from the side of DG. And the drafts are getting funkier and funkier as we go down, as Wu will pick up the Sun, aka Wukong, if you're familiar with the other MOBAs of the genre. Gonna walk in here with a Petrify. This will be the first time we will see Sun in the MLSA. It'll be the first time we see Nathan in the MLSA, and I dare say it's the first time we'll see Nana in the MLSA. So a lot of firsts here between these two teams, and the compositions are wild. We thought first series was wild, but nah, man, they ain't got none in the second match, as these two teams are looking to duke it out with a lot of unorthodox stancing and positioning with these compositions.
And speaking of first times, even though it's
Master Rim.
Coming in, checking in.
Well, I gotta say,
Looks like we've lost Rim.
I gotta say one thing. If you are looking at the side of Huevo, this is a very big wildcard draft, right? Wu locking in that Sun. Yuki picking up another marksman, even though they already had Nathan. And this is not a Nathan jungle because they have a Fanny. So this is a Nathan in the mid lane, possibly, in a gold lane Beatrix, which is definitely an interesting composition. But what that creates is a squishy lineup for the side of Huevo. They have to be careful, as you do have that Hilda to kind of rush in and take out those back lines. But if they can get the job done, especially relying on Carl Cutie to pave that early game, that is a lot of range damage to work in their favor to quickly burst down the side of demigods. But the question is, who will kind of turn this tide into their favor? As you're seeing the Carl Cutie on the Fanny against a jungler by the name of Hilda, which is not something we've ever seen in the MLSA. The question is, how well will it play off? You do see Wu over there on the Sun as well, and I'm wondering exactly what his game plan is.
Well, I can tell you right now, he's on the roam, and Carl Cutie is on the hunt as he's looking to pick up an early kill. Not going to get it done. But again, gotta point it out, Wu is currently playing the roam with this Sun. I repeat, a Sun not only in the MLSA for the first time, but on the roam. Speaking of things on the roam, Wu finding a Petrify, but not gonna find a kill just yet. But the pressure coming in from Huevo with this composition is definitely noticeable. It'll be interesting to see how this transfers over into those mid and late stages of the game.
Speaking of pressure, though, I will say, as I was saying earlier, I had to, hop off a little bit. But these teams, the reason why the draft is looking so, absurd, maybe even on both ends, is because I don't know if y'all saw the chat before the game happened. When Cutie came in, Cutie said, "We're gonna troll, right?" So then Demigods was like, "Oh, but we'll troll." So then Huevo was like, "No, we're not trolling." So I don't know. There's maybe some kind of playful tension coming out from the side of both these teams, and the draft is definitely reflecting that. Speaking of things being reflected.
Bombshell getting a kill onto Yuki.
We're seeing Call Cutie find a kill on Oh My Venus here.
Wait a minute, not able to make anything happen. DG do some serious damage on to the clone of Sun right there for Wu. But looking at the bottom side, we are seeing Durza and Ree trying to put some pressure over on this Chow, but deciding to disengage as Turtle is in play. And they're going to go ahead and try and take some of this aggro.
And that is a Nate mid right from Ree, like you said, applying that pressure. We've seen this from Malaysia. Now we're seeing it in NA. Is Huevo is looking a little reminiscent of Todak. Right, Chiku guys in that mid lane with some of these unorthodox, some of these flexible picks in the mid. But speaking of flex here, a wild charge coming in. Carl Cutie gonna steal that turtle.
What a plan of cables, but Bombshell getting a kill onto Carl Cutie in that process.
And now we're seeing a trade from Ree finding Bombshell.
And down he goes. Durza on the retreat. Yuki getting a kill on the 1-for-1 fight against the marksman with no name. Down goes Wanwan, which will allow an easier time for Yuki in the gold lane.
Absolutely. No name and no life right now is the way that Yuki left him in that lane as he was looking for the trade. But speaking of trades here, a little back and forth between Hubert Birdie and Durza and this XP lane. And it's interesting to note that's a damage showdown there with the high and dry currently sitting 1-0-1 on the stat line here as far as the KDA is going. And now Venus dealing with Wu's cologne. I'm so shocked about this Rome Sun right now. But speaking of Rome, Carl Cutie on the hunt on Norbit here, looking to find a kill. We're running out of energy.
Norbit getting a kill onto Carl Cutie, and now that is going to give him an advantage as the jungler is down for the side of Fuevo. A little bit of over-aggressiveness was costly for Fanny. And now 4-3, also leading in kills for the side of Blacklist.
Definitely leading in the side of this team here as they are looking to keep up the pace here. Huevo trying to find an opening here. The composition a little unclear here. I'm not exactly sure what they're going for as far as their win condition. I do know though as this game goes on and the game keeps scaling and whatnot, the side of Huevo will get a little more dangerous, right? Sun is in the roam, but Sun is still Sun. As the late game goes on, he's able to tear down those beefy opponents. So people like this Hilda and like this Cooper, he can definitely take out quite easily. Speaking of taking out though, in the background, Bombshell gonna find Reed surprisingly in that jungle.
But fight's still going in. You do see Fanny rushing in, trying to get a double kill, possibly with the cable spam.
Able to find one, looking for two. Carl Cutie not giving up on Hilda, but the passive from Bombshell going to keep him safe. And now the engage, though, Tyrant's range is able to take out the clone of Wu, but not taking out the real Wu as Bombshell is slowly working on it, finds the kill on Sun.
You see Carl Cutie rushing in with the cables, trying to connect, but quickly bursted down. A double kill into the hands of Bombshell.
And not something I thought I would see. A Hilda right now winning out the edge over Fanny in the MLSA as DG will go ahead and start up this neutral objective that Huevo is so mercifully and so gracefully offering to them after giving up those kills.
And that is Turtle into the hands of Bombshell. Now 7-4 and up by 1,000 gold. Old Master Rim looking at these items and also looking at the top lane. Ree getting a kill on to Wanwan, opening up some insane opportunity to push in this tower.
Speaking of opportunities, let's see these items giving the side of Huevo the opportunity to get these kills. The Beatrix, she has one of her first core item, the corrosion sight. It's definitely going to help her. As we see, she's clearing out these minions. We see Kufra with the defense on every aspect, the magic and physical. Even though it's just components, it's definitely going to help him in these team fights. As you mentioned, it's a damage choke. He does have that Blade of Heptasis, which is definitely going to help him in the EXP lane against this Grok, who also has the same first item. So it's a bit even in terms of item compositions in these lanes, which is definitely being reflected in these team fights.
Speaking of reflect, let's take a moment to reflect on what just happened. In the midst of that breakdown, Hilda, Bombshell getting picked off by Durza on this Grok, and is along with Ree on the Nathan, able to finally pick up a kill. Speaking of picking up, though, there is a pause being requested by the side of Demigod, so we will, of course, as the MLSA, honorably and respectfully accommodate that pause. A little break in the action, and these two teams are going back and forth at it right now. A lot of things sliding by in between these two teams, but the composition from Wavo currently edging out the side of Demigods.
Interesting indeed. You are seeing one kill into the hands of Wavo over Demigods right now. But in terms of gold, Demigods are up by about 2,000. Kind of mentioned Carl Cutie on that Fanny needing to be that answer in the early game, but a little bit of an upscale battle when he's rushing in to Norbit on that Nana, and also rushing in to a brick wall with Bombshell playing the Hilda jungle. We've seen a kind of a clash out between both junglers, and Hilda just a little bit more beefier and a little bit more burst potential. Kind of make God's work of Carl Cutie on that Fanny. Now sitting at 5-2-2 for KDA, so I will say it's an interesting game indeed. Towers are dropping though for the side of Demigods right now. So Wavo's kind of leading in terms of the turret, but like we said, on the side of Demigods, what they do have in their favor is a fed Hilda, kind of rushing to that backline, securing those kills. And also, we talked about a little bit of an upskill battle for Carl Cutie jumping into this. He's also going up against Venus, playing a direct counter with that Kufra. I think that was a wise draft to kind of close it out on the side of Demigods.
Honestly, I don't even think that the Kufra is the Fanny's biggest issue right now. I think the Fanny is lacking some energy in certain instances. We've seen trying to be fancy, trying to give us a show, but you can't give us a show if you're lacking sleep. You know, you have to have your full energy to be able to give us these plays. Speaking of getting into plays, we are getting back up into the game here.
We are getting back into the action as the side of Wavo is looking to pressure down this tower. A lot of members here, most of them being Wu, but a kill being picked up in the hands of the unknown gold laner from Demigods. A flicker in with the charge from Kufra. Also going to find Yuki Non, another kill to the hands of the unknown gold laner, looking to make his name known, though, however little it may be for the side of Demigods. Now a little focus, a little bit of pressure in the mid lane as far as Grok. Durza going to clear it up and head back over to the lane as he is trying to apply some pressure after losing two members from the side of Wavo.
Now, we do know Turtle is spawning in 1 second, and there it goes. Ree kind of having that 1v1 fight against the unknown marksman for the side of Demigods. But looking at the map, looking at these objectives, Wavo kind of putting on that pressure, closing out these towers, and also possibly able to take this Turtle. But what? A backdoor retribution from Bombshell, and Turtle goes to the side of the Demigods.
Dropping the bomb right on Wavo there with that sneaky play for Carl Cutie with the steel cables, with the cutthroat, finding on my Venus on the Kufra.
Oh my goodness, but wait a minute. Do see Wu, his clone, in the fight, deciding to disengage, but Cho being taken out in the process, and Bombshell getting a kill on to Wu. Man, oh man, these bodies are dropping left and right for both sides, 10-8. I definitely would say between these two teams, they love to clash it out.
Speaking of things dropping, looking at these items dropping in here, we did see 1-1. Even though she got taken out, she does have 2 of her core items. All she has to do, play safe so she can get that 3rd item. She skipped the boots, so she's barefoot in the Land of Dawn right now, but she's still making an impact. Speaking of making an impact, Nana picking up that Clock of Destiny and Lightning Truncheon, which actually, as a mage main, they both got buffed. So we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of damage coming in from the Nana. Speaking of damage coming in here.
We are seeing the cables from Carl Cutie, not going to connect and find anything, but does let Demigods know he has a watchful eye on them in this jungle. Speaking of Wu, posturing with his clone, dancing with the members of the Demigods right now. Wu definitely offering a lot of distraction with this son, with those clones, the multiple versions of him. It's like we're watching Wu in the multiverse right now, as he is keeping the side of Demigod occupied, while Ree is pushing down that top side, keeping that wave pushing on that inhibitor. Is now Wavo is looking to force into this mid lane potentially. Wu throwing in another Guardian Angel that Demigods will go ahead and take out now. Durza eating the Molina. They're still posturing in the mid as the barrier goes down. They're holding that minion wave there and holding DG back, but they're going to go ahead and disengage. But Carl Cutie going to throw install cables and quickly turn back around, but gets caught by the Molina there.
Oh, kind of throwing it all, even through the flame shot at Carl Cutie. Said jump up in here if you want to, and he's down to half HP now. Definitely need to be a little bit careful, but wait a minute. Carl Cutie kind of getting zoned by Venus right now, but a little bit of cabling back and forth, and Venus caught in a bad situation, trying to use the conceal to escape, and able to secure that kill.
Let's secure the kill, and now Wu securing vision here on the rest of the members, duking it out with Bombshell. Yukinon looking to potentially get that kill with the Beatrix. He is able to escape, but Ree getting taken out by Human Birdie in the background.
Way the Dragon does connect, and what a play indeed. Now a 1-for-1 trade. Speaking of trades, Yukinon getting a kill onto Human Bird. Down goes Cho.
And now Wavo, knowing they have the number, slowly moving up. Durza with a flicker, wild charge, going to catch Norbert on the Nana here. Wu going in, but Yukinon going to take out Bombshell in the background.
Norbert running away with barely any HP. Venus trying to go in, and with a little bit of Tyrant's Rage into the tower! Connects on Yukinon, but at the same time is quickly bursted down with the heavy presence of Huevo in the bottom lane. And not only do they secure that kill with Yukinon on that Beatrix, but they secure that tower.
And somehow, right, Yukinon able to survive through all that action. And now we're seeing Carl Cutie currently posturing over in the jungle, looking to pick up this blue buff, as he currently does not have one, with his blue buff still on the timer here. But Wavo making their way to position in this river, maybe looking to take up this early Lord, as Ree has started to push on that top side lane. Two members responding to it right now, but Ree gonna take down Juan off screen.
What a play indeed, and that is one member down for the side of Huevo, and Lord down into the hands of Huevo. But wait a minute, Clash going in. You do see Venus in a bad situation again, and Yukinon making God's work of him. Down goes Kufra.
And Wu not done bringing out the monkey staff, laying down the wood on Norbert if you could. And now looking to potentially push down these lanes. Lord has been spawned in the way of the dragon, but when the nature from Yukinon gonna be unstoppable as he does secure that kill.
What a play. Yukinon, last minute, able to pull out that Wind of Nature in the middle of the way of the dragon to negate that damage, and then pulls out Namiru to finish the deal and wins that trade. Definitely some high IQ gameplay indeed. But while this is all happening, you are seeing the Lord make his way down the bottom lane, and Huevo kind of dominating in the map, dominating in terms of real estate with turrets, and also dominating with one win over the Demigods. The question is, can they close it out? Already looking really good for a possible finish, and they have Lord to kind of work in their favor. Speaking of favor, though, you do see Venus rushing in. Tyrant's Rage going in for a set, but wait a minute, Ree able to get a kill on a Human Bird.
Carl Cutie doing a good job of separating that backline, as now Wavo's looking to potentially end this game. Barriers down from Durza. We do see Wu now getting cut out from Bombshell. Lord's going to go ahead and get cleared out. Carl Cutie trying to secure a kill. Not going to find it, though. The members of Wavo are reeling. Ree popping out the ultimate, though, looking to dish out some insane damage. We know he is running the magic. Good bit of burst here. He is knocking it back, but Kufra on the charge. Not going to find anything, though, as Wavo's now transferring over to his mid inhibitor. Another barrier out from Durza right now. Does not have the ultimate. Does have flicker, though, as the inhibitor does go down. That's a complete base exposed and open for Wavo to potentially close out this game.
Man, what a play indeed. But right now, Demigods with a little bit of a comeback, a little bit of a plan. And the question is, can they hold out? Speaking of hold out, though, you do see a fight. Tyrant's Rage connecting onto the wall, and down goes Carl Cutie to Norbert.
And a big wild charge follow with that Nibiru's passion as he takes out Human Birdie as well, and going to take out Venus with a flicker.
You see Yukinon with a double kill. Down goes Kufra, triple kill.
And now they're looking to end the game. The members are down from the side of the Demigods. No one left to defend except Norbert and Bombshell, the Nana and Hilda. Molina in place, but Wavo in good place to go ahead and secure this win. But they don't currently have any minions. But bot side wave slowly coming in, top side coming in. Yukinon them do feel confident. He's positioning with that submachine gun. Going to go ahead for the 1v1 against Bombshell. Going to win that.
And that is going to be the Nexus with no defense from the side of Demigods. That's a full wipeout. Not only a full wipeout, but that is a sweep into the hands of Huevo to take Series 2.
Absolutely clean and seasoned from the side of Huevos. They brought out the big brooms to take out the team from the Wild Wild West. Demigods looking like mortals and the size of mama eggs here. Huevo definitely, even with a little bit of trolling, right? So a little bit of troll. We just witnessed a Sun Rome come out on top. He went 0-5-10. I wouldn't say he was a critical part of the win, but a part of the win, no less. You gotta respect it. Yukinon coming up MVP. Rim, please break down the items that led to this monumentous award and make some of those statistics as well.
Absolutely. Speaking of monumentous items, Yuki with that wind of nature. Marksman, I hope if you're a marksman player out there, I hope you're looking at the MLS saying you're taking notes right now. That outplay, surviving the way of the dragon from Chow and getting the kill in the process. So that's a really good, item in terms of outplays. Speaking of items for outplays, I will say I kind of disagree with you with Wu not having that impact. I know as a roamer, you would expect them to be up in your face, giving vision. He was not letting the side of Demigods get any breathing room and throwing those clones out. We saw them wasting a lot of utility. And speaking of utility, looking at the stats here, 1-1, DG, the nameless marksman, she had the 60%, the 80%, tower damage, but it was not enough to secure them the game. Speaking of game, overall team fight participation on the side of Huevo, beautiful. Everyone is above that 40 to 50% team fight participation, and that's what you want to see in games like this. You want to see teams use their composition, even if it's wild card, even if it's something out of the ordinary. Make it known that it could work once we have a plan to execute this draft.
Speaking of plans, that is game. A sweep into the hands of Huevo to take out the team from the Wild Wild West Demigods for Series 2. Impressive nonetheless. You did see a lot of interesting wild card picks from the side of Pueblo. That Sun in the roam position, the Nathan getting pulled out for the gold lane, going up against the unnamed sniper for Demigods, and also able to win that lane as well. Durza on the Grok to kind of finish it out for that front line to sustainability and CC, and Carl Cutie on the comfort pick. One of those heroes you have to either outban or do your research on, as Fanny is definitely a game changer. Speaking of games, though, that is not the last one. That was Series 2, but a little bit of look on at the schedule going forward. We do have a new team in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, Tang Dynasty, going up against a crowd favorite Nefarious for a best of 3 in Series 3. Grab some popcorn, get some drinks, don't go anywhere, as we'll be right back with you guys momentarily.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
That's where.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, Honey Bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Yeah. Love you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah. You can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, never, never wanna forget. Forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Yeah. Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. Feeling it when you're miles away, yeah. You can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, never, never wanna forget. To forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back in the Land of the Dawn, and we are on Series 3. Today is Season 1, Week 4, Day 2. And like we said, we are on Series 3. We've seen some teams compete already. Blacklist versus Elite 10. And then Series 2, we saw the Demigods versus Swavel. And now, a new team on the rise. First time ever seeing them compete in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, Tang Dynasty. And like we said, they're going against that crowd favorite, Nefarious. And I really want to see what they bring to the table going forward. I've never really seen them play. We have seen some things from the side of Nefarious. They were able to win King of the Hill 4 times in a row. First one to have that record, but quickly taken down by Ackerman, who now holds that title with 7. So definitely one of those veteran teams for the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy that you have to watch out for. Knowing how to draft, knowing how to close those difficult situations when their backs are against the wall. But speaking about against the wall, we are going to go ahead and take a look into the draft. You are seeing possibly. Oh, go ahead. You got it, Master Rim.
Speaking of things happening here, looking at the draft, we see a lot of strong picks coming out on both sides, both Tang Dynasty and Nefarious. Nefarious picking up Disappointing Retreat on the Carmilla, paired with Some to Love, one of the better marksmen as well in the MLSA with the Beatrix, as we've seen a new build as well pop off from Hoivel in the first game. So will that Beatrix be able to match the momentum of Yukinon? Only time will tell. Speaking of time, we do see Valentina being picked up, and we do know she has that IMU, which she can benefit of the ultimate from the Carmilla as well. And when you look at the heavy front line that the side of Tang Dynasty has, they have the Yuzong, they have the Grok, which can kind of, mitigate that CC and link that the Carmilla can offer. So I'm really liking the first half of the draft right now.
Yeah, looking at the draft so far, right? You were able to slide in that Carmilla for first pick, but you gave up the Valentina. Now, when you give that up, you have to be careful on how you draft going forward, as Valentina with that IMU can still any of those ultimates that you pick on your side of the draft. And already having the way the dragon is definitely a possible ultimate for her to use to kind of displace any of the heroes going forward. Also having that Curse of Blood that Carmilla offers may be a possible ultimate that Valentina decides to pick up. I was gonna say Valentina's name, but I'm definitely not saying that. But looking at Some to Love, picking up that Beatrix, that fan favorite marksman so far, and also the marksman that's gonna be getting a new skin for M4, 2 new skins, I think, if it's anything like M3 with that double Roger. I'm excited to see what the Beatrix one looks like going forward. But speaking about these picks, speaking about the draft, Big Zeus with big picks gonna go ahead and take up that Yuzong. having that Black Dragon to be able to rush in, get to that back line, drop down, and also use the Shaw Essence for a little bit of life steal may be the possible plan, but time will tell as you are possibly rushing into the Beatrix with the Wesker at her side. That shotgun to kind of close that distance in that close fight, and also maybe using the Miru may be a possible plan as well. We know Beatrix is one of those marksmen that can kind of do it all. Has a strong close range weapon, has long range as well, and everything in between. Now the question is, looking at the side of Tang Dynasty, what are you going to slot against this? We do not know who they have picked for their gold lane. Looking at the ban so far though, the Fair is kind of trying to limit the marksman pool already, taking out that Wanwan and also taking out that Leslie.
Absolutely. Two picks that we know is definitely going to give the side of Nefarious hell when it comes to that late game. Leslie with that insane true damage coming through, and Wanwan with her unique ultimate that can't remember the name of it right now, but we do know what I can remember is how detrimental getting hit by it can be. Speaking of getting hit by things, they're locking in that Fredrin, who we may see going into the jungle on the side of Tang Dynasty. Again, a really heavy, tanky composition that they're going for, as well as slotting in this Valentina to back this up. And speaking of things being backed up, we see Aloy picking up the Lunox. I like that pick personally because she's one of those mages that when you think of tanky compositions, you really want a mage like Lunox who can shred high HP enemies.
Absolutely, shredding those enemies. And not only welcome back to the viewers, but welcome back to myself as well. I'm coming back onto the caster desk with my co-caster, Rim, providing some very insightful knowledge in the draft. Thank you for that, Rim. But now these picks starting to get finalized, starting to get rounded up. Just some marksmen currently in the mist for this side of Tang Dynasty, one of these new teams. Their very first appearance, their very first outing up against Nefarious, a crowd favorite, a very winning team in the MLSA, able to secure themselves a ranking among some of the top teams in MLSA. Is now we are seeing the Earthel be locked in. These drafts are finalized. We're going to be heading into our first match of this final series, best of 3 in between Nefarious and Tang Dynasty. And boy, I can't wait. I love seeing new teams. I love seeing them go up against, especially against one of our top teams, to really get a good grasp of where they'll probably fit in and kind of slide in as far as the rankings. But with that being said, Rim, the draft has been completed, like I said. What do you think right now about these drafts? Who do you think kind of has the upper hand, the advantage, if you will, in between these two teams?
Definitely going to give it to the hands of Tang Dynasty, only because the side of Nefarious, they left the Valentina. They took so many ultimates that she can use at her disposal. And when you look at the rest of the composition, they have the frontline presence. They have Sanji on this Irithel. She can dance around the enemies while dealing damage, so she can get out of those tricky situations. And when you look at that, if that Valentina picks up Carmela's ultimate, that's going to wreak havoc. And we know that it shares, the benefits of items, CC, and things of that nature. So when you pair that up, if she does take that ultimate, it's going to backfire on the side of Nefarious.
Absolutely, it could backfire, but that's the thing about these teams, especially at this level of competition. It's going to come down to execution for any of those things to happen in between these two teams. Speaking of execution, right, we see the lineups, we see them in the matchups now. As far as these win conditions, we know where it's going to be for the side of Nefarious. It's going to be in the hands of some to love. One of the rising marksmen in the MLSA that really knows how to get it done. One of those snipers as well for the side of Nefarious, rightfully so. So he does have Beatrix, and already starting out with the runner up against Sanji on this Earthel. Speaking of Sanji, though, a lot of dive right from the side of Tang Dynasty. They have the Yuzhong, the Fredrin, the Earthel, and even the Grok, right, for that full charge, that full stampede front line in between these teams to kind of go for the push on Nefarious, who doesn't have too much CC, just a little bit, but mainly for pickoffs, right, on the side of Nefarious. So they're going to have to find a way to maybe secure something with something to prove on this Cho before those big team fights break out, before the Black Dragon comes, before the Wild Charge, before the Energy Eruption and the Praiser Raid from Fredrin, and whatever utility that the IMU from Valentina will provide, which could be even a cursed blood link, right, from the side of Valentina, taking that from Carmilla. So a lot of things they have to try to deal with and work around before these fights can kind of swing in their favor.
Speaking of working around things, the Survey Corps is one of those teams that set a mark when they first made an appearance in the and a in the MLSA, I'm sorry. So I'm really excited to see if Time Dynasty is going to be one of those teams that's going to come in and set the tone going forward. Speaking of setting the tone going forward, in the top lane here, we do see an engagement happening.
You are seeing a bit of an engagement, doing a little bit of damage there, but able to disengage. Carmilla getting a little bit of pressure. Speaking of pressure, though, the Tang Dynasty jungler, Lucky Buck, going to go ahead and start up this turtle with the Fredrin. Grok going to start providing some zone, keeping Carmilla out of that river. Don't want to let her through just yet, but something to prove, trying to pave the way with the G-Kundu. The IMU going to steal that Blood Link, but Black Dragon coming in. Valentina going to use that ult as Fredrin will go ahead and secure that lure. They are on the push. Black Dragon looking to crash down, landing in. Wild Charge plus the knockup. First blood going into Big Zeus hand. But speaking of big Brave Fighter, stands from Wafu Wafu with the flicker play. Not going to be able to find anyone with the stun. That is a 1-for-1 trade though between both of these teams. But Turtle ultimately falling to the hands of Tang Dynasty.
Speaking of things falling into the hands, looking at these items, we do see Lunox getting the her mana boots, which is definitely going to help her. We know she pokes a lot, so she consumes that mana. Speaking of penetration, on the side of Yuzong, he's already securing that to boost the damage, his early game damage up against that Lapu Lapu in the side lanes there. We do see Iratel going in for the attack speed. Speaking of going in here, we do see the sign of Tang Dynasty testing the waters in this mid lane a little bit, telling the side of Nefarious, we know y'all are famous for being criminals, and you know how criminals are. They like to set their mark. And Tang Dynasty is definitely trying to show them that we're here to possibly enforce the law and show y'all to respect the rules in the land of Dawn here.
Absolutely. Tang Dynasty in their first showing, looking to create a dynasty as they forced a Brilliance ult from Aloy on this Lunox. The disengage from Aloy currently taken out. The member of the Tang Dynasty hovering over this mid, getting very aggressive, but going to go ahead and shift some of that focus over to the gold lane. Disappointing retry and some love currently in the bush, though. Lucky Buck might get caught out on the rotation, but he's not going to go ahead and commit to it. Disappointing, and some of the love going to go ahead and split up ways. Both teams trying to find a mark here, trying to find their openings. Speaking of openings, Big Zeus and Azumi on top, and a bit of a one-on-one. Gonna go ahead and use the Black Dragon form. Aloy caught out without that Brilliance ult. Gonna get hit by the knockup petrified combo by Zeus. Gonna get hit by the kill, but something to prove with a quick turnaround with the Way of Dragon. Gonna go ahead and return that 1-for-1 currently on the board. Azumi on top with the Brave Fighter stance. Gonna miss that stun. Lucky Buck currently in leading the way. Energy Eruption. Gonna find something to prove. Lynx coming down from the Carmilla, trying to do some damage. Disappointing Lynx. Not gonna find anything as Grok is gonna be able to disengage as well as Lucky. That was a trade in the favor of Tang Dynasty. And now the Turtle Dance, the little shimmy, a cha-cha slide in between both teams. They're looking to pull up that aggro. It's dropping low. Looks like Tang's gonna go ahead and back off though. But the wall, the barrier from Grok is gonna steal that turtle. And right now I have to wonder where was the retry at? Somehow losing the battle to a simple wall. The Great Wall of China is what Tang Dynasty is putting down in the river, as they are also gonna go ahead and steal that blue buff. A wild charge coming out from Grok, but not going to lead any much more than that. But you don't need anything else after you secured the turtle with a wall and then a blue buff with your jungler's retry. Tang Dynasty doing a good job of picking up the pace on Nefarious, and you can see a bit of the action here, a bit of this replay over these neutrals. These teams going back and forth at it. Good job, especially from Tang Dynasty, being able to secure these neutrals. Even on that first one, doing excellent wasting utility, and that's exactly what you want to do if you're Tang Dynasty. Waste a little bit of utility that Nefarious has to offer.
Absolutely. Speaking of wasting, I always say what you put out there is what you're going to get back. And disappointing retry, I think it's the curse of the name. At this point, you have to change that name to mildly successful retries, or 50% chance to secure a retry, because like you said, losing it to that wall, not even a retry contest but a wall, that definitely says a lot from the side of Tang Dynasty. Speaking of a lot from Tang Dynasty,
a lot of pressure as that kill in the mid lane, facilitated by the wild charge from Grok. Sanji in an uncomfortable position, but Nefarious looking to make the plays. And not Nefarious, Tang Dynasty looking to make the plays, but getting hit by the Lynx. Going to slow him down just a bit. Some of the love going to get forced on the recall, but will be able to make it in time. No, he's going to go and try to clear out the minions. Might have been a bad call. Sanji's going to pick up that kill. Something to prove now. Looking to make a play. Going to miss the G-Kundu barrier coming out from Grok to keep that forward advance from happening. Disappointing retry, and something to prove. Going to be forced back here as four members of Tang Dynasty are crowded around this gold lane after picking up that kill on some of the love, who's now 0-1 on the Beatrix. And Tang Dynasty, like I said, applying a lot of pressure. The win condition there, focusing in on this gold lane, keeping some of the love down.
Absolutely. And speaking of keeping things down, we do see Beatrix getting that Blade of Despair as an item, as one of her first items, which in some cases people do build out first for her so she can deal more early game damage. Speaking of dealing early game damage, Aretha, she also has two of her first core items, which we all know is going to make her deal so much more damage, and she's already been doing that. Speaking of dealing damage, we do see the Valentina picking up the Clock of Destiny, which just got buffed. I always point that out, and it's such a strong item for mages right now. Speaking of strong,
we are seeing a strong forefront presence coming from Tang Dynasty. Just two members there keeping the attention of Nefarious in that bot side. But speaking of attention, Azumi drawing some unwanted attention as he will be forced to flicker out of that river. Lapu's spell is out of commission here. But speaking of commission, something to prove with the G-Kun do going on Grok there. The members of Nefarious crowded up along with the members of Tang Dynasty. The mid tower is a little low there. Tang could try to force this if they want to. Looks like they're not going to go ahead and force that tower down, but still going to keep their positioning. We could see a play here. Valentina with the dashes, not going to be able to find something to prove, but does have the Way of the Dragon. Did steal that ultimate with the I am you, telling a little bit of you are me as well. And now YZ getting hit by the stun from Carmilla. Nothing going to come of it though, but in that mid lane, Sanji and Grok pressuring that wave. They're not going to push the tower again, opting in to go for this gank on Beatrix, who might have overstayed, might have overstepped the boundary. A flicker in with the wall charge, gonna miss, but now the heavy crossbow from Sanji coming in, gonna get taken out by that Renner's Empathy, close range, looking like a Wesker's Elation there with Renner, and now the barrier has been dropped, not gonna find the kill though, as something to prove is now providing some assistance. Aloy also cutting down the river to maybe adding some of that burst, that dark ult, and it will be pop. They are gonna go ahead and burst this down, as something to prove will assist this kill over to the hands of Aloy, who will now be 2-2-1, the mid laner for Nefarious.
Now, the thing about Nefarious is they're one of those teams that's able to capitalize on mistakes. And I do think that discipline is something that teams facing them has to instill and, try to take that path. If they went back to the tower, cleared that gold lane, they would have been able to save the tower and not give a kill to the side of Nefarious.
You see Clash going in though. Wait a minute. Looks like Numiru's Passion activating from Something to Love. Brilliance activating by Aloy over there on the Lunox. And you are going to see Carmilla get the kill on to Rock.
As the members of Tang Dynasty are now on the back end of that fight. It looked like they had a great opportunity with the 3-man wild charge, but quickly turned around by Nefarious, who's now slowly chipping away at this Lord. Frederick still, though, in play. Lucky Buck looking for that backdoor retreat. He is starting to step up now, but Lord with a good CC, and now Brave Fighter stands from Azumi onto the back line. Sanji, though, going to find Aloy there. The Lord still being chipped away. Lucky coming to contest. It's going to be a retreat battle, and Lucky is going to win it. The name offering some assistance, but double kill now by Sanji. They're on the Russian Stampede as a knockdown from YZ is going to find a member. Sanji doing a good job of dishing out that damage. 3 members down, all at the hands of Sanji after using that Wind of Nature. Now Lucky working down this blue buff, and the rest of Tang Dynasty and company will be pushing down on this mid lane. They have the numbers advantage right now. 5 members up to the 3 members of Nefarious who are reeling from the misplay, but a wild charge off screen is going to be able to catch this Beatrix. Going to be able to escape though, but drop dangerously low. They will go ahead and look for this bot inhibitor. The passive is still in play. Gonna pop. Gonna be able to defend, but speaking of defend, we do see Azumi on top in the top lane trying to defend that Lord, that push, that tier 2. Meanwhile, Beatrix did find a kill on that Grok there, but now Big Zeus looking to impose his will potentially. Once that tower down, Lord is going to take it, but on the opposite side, Sanji getting caught out of shutdowns to the hands of disappointing retreat, and now the XP battle, but Lucky going to come to assist as Azumi on top is trying to secure a kill. Black Dragon coming out, going to be able to escape, and now Frederick saying this is now our fight, but getting caught out by 4 members, going to land the energy eruption of Praetor's Wrath, going to miss the mark, not to connect, but some of the love will spread a little bit of love as he will secure that kill on the jungler of Tang Dynasty.
Absolutely. And it's like I was saying before, the discipline. They had the Lord. They should have backed off, go back to farm these lanes, make them synced up so they can get a little more instead of giving trades into the favor of Nefarious. Speaking of giving things into the favor of Nefarious, we see Carmella picking up a kill because someone on the side of Tang Dynasty was out of position. You have to stay focused. What are we doing here? You know, like, are we here for a reason? Are we going to set up for something? Speaking of setting up, though, as we see for the instant replay, we see the side of Tang Dynasty securing these kills, as well as Lucky coming in and securing the Lord, but still, even winning the team fight, we saw that Irithel was able to pick up that triple kill, and the fight was in their favor, the match was in their favor here, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to execution. And speaking of execution here,
we are seeing Sanji pick up more kills, a double kill. They do have the numbers advantage. Disappointing red tree, might be caught out in an uncomfortable position. Lucky Buck going in for the stun. Grok with the flicker here. Cyclone Wild Charge combination. A little bit of the elements coming into play for Grok now with the barrier down. The Great Wall of China looking to stop Disappointing. He will get taken down. Double kill going into the hands of Lucky Buck. Some to love, trying to do some damage with the Renner, but a little too late there. The fight has already been won by the side of Tang Dynasty as they will now look to invade some of this jungle capital from the side of Nefarious. G Kundu coming out from Sun to Prove, not going to land, not going to find anyone there as they're looking to try to reclaim some of this map that Tang Dynasty has spread their great reach all over.
speaking of spreading reaches, I want to take a look at the items now that this second Lord is being pushed in. We see Carmella, she has her 3-core defense items, perfect for the side of Tang Dynasty here. We do see Yu Zhang building with the Dominance Eyes. He has the sustain. Speaking of sustain, he was able to steal this Lord here, and there might be a team fight following it.
And Tang Dynasty following the way with that Black Dragon form. Going to find a Lloyd right now, but a Lloyd trying to sidestep, but going to get caught by the Wild Charge, taken out. Some to love there in the background, getting focused, but it is going to be able to take out Sandri. Marksman for marksman battle going to the side of Tang Dynasty, and now they're looking to pick up the force as Some to Love is still in the back, not being focused here. This might be dangerous. Azumi on top, finding a kill with the Brave Fighter stance, make that 2 kills as he finds Grok looking for the escape. A Lucky Buck with the 2v1 currently. A Praiser of Wrath might be coming out. No, going to get taken out early. Some to Love is going to find the kill, a monster kill, and a monster play from the side of the face. They will be able to hold this defense, hold the line one more time to extend their lifeline up against Tang Dynasty. Nefarious, showing that they're here to play and they're here to win, and they're not going to go out easy.
Speaking of going out easy, I'm not seeing this Valentina's impact. We were a bit worried in the earlier phase of the draft how hard them giving up that pick would make the match for them, but we're not really seeing the Valentina be used to the full potential that we as players know that she's capable of. These ultimates in this replay here, we do see them securing this fight. Again, the outplays from Some to Love. And it's like I said, it's the battle of the names here. It's definitely, Karma loves them. You know, she was able to secure so much kills with no HP, as well as help their team defend against this Lord push.
And now Nefarious gonna have to do it probably one more time. They're still on the back end as far as pressure waves, still on the side of Tang Dynasty, especially as far as towers. The map definitely in their control. They have 8 towers to 2 towers of Nefarious. It's gonna take a little more than kills for Nefarious to get their way back into the game, but a G Kundu Bush check coming out from Sun to Prove, luckily able to escape. There was potential there from the side of Tang Dynasty to decide to go ahead and secure that pick off on him. They definitely had the CC to get it done, but gonna go ahead and save that utility. Lord will be coming up soon. They're looking to just secure some real estate, but speaking of secure real estate, Lucky Buck in the jungle might be overstaying his welcome. G Kundu from Sun to Prove, way in the Dragon, Azumi with the Brave Fighter stance, and now the Dark Orb from Aloy, gonna get taken out from the burst. Big Zeus coming in just too late, but going to be able to find the trade. Sanji actually going to take out the Aloy there, dancing around the perimeter with that heavy crossbow. We're going to find another kill, but disappointing direction. Looks like he might get away, but Azumi on top will not get away as Sanji will now find his second kill there, but Something to Love coming to try to save out his team. Going to return with a double kill. Winter Trunks from this Valentina, but will it save him? Renner's shot coming out from Son of Love, gonna miss, sending out another one, gonna miss as well. Still on the chase, gonna miss 3. 0 for 3 for Son of Love. He is struck out and now looking for the Grok with the submachine gun, but is gonna go ahead and disengage. And wow, what a back and forth in between these teams ahead of the Lord. A couple bodies missing, a couple junglers missing as well. But now with this enhanced Luminous Lord, we know exactly where the focus is gonna go, where the attention is going, because Disappointing Retry is already standing up to a rim. I hope he lives up to your suggestion. Maybe a 50-50, maybe a mildly Retry indeed, but Renner shot coming out from Son of Love, doing a lot of damage. Renner Empathy gonna miss the mark. Sending out warning shots. Now the wall charge coming out, gonna catch the jungler. Lucky Buck on the backside, looking for another steal. Not gonna find it. Disappointing Retry gonna find that with a G-Condu coming up from Son of Love, doing a good job of Son of Love on the opposite end, gonna find a kill. He's not looking for peace, he's looking for war, as Nefarious will secure that Lord.
Man, and that just goes to show they have the advantage on the side of Tang Dynasty in these early games, but the discipline is lacking. Speaking of discipline, and this team fight here.
In the team fight, we saw Sanji doing a good job at first, being able to find the kill, but Son of Love doing a good job of holding his patience, timing the opening, knowing when it was time for him to go in and return, to go on the attack, go on the offensive after the defensive. And we're seeing that in between both of these teams. Nefarious, though, trying to go ahead and secure this win. They're pushing down the mid lane. And like we said, they were going to need a lot to reclaim some stakes on this map. And that Lord was definitely a huge bonus there, as they are clashing down. Some of Love getting taken dangerously low, though. Gotta be careful. One step in the wrong direction could spell disaster when you're going up against a team like Tank Dynasty, especially with the options they have, the Wild Charge, the Heavy Crossbow, and even that Black Dragon. But now the Lord pushing down. We do see Son of Love trying to go in for the flicker play. Gonna get his immortality pop. The Lord gonna go down as well, and Nefarious throwing bodies right now. Beatrix gonna find the tower, but at what cost? Remember, the dropping left and right. The Cursed Blood dropping down from Carmilla. Brave Fighter Stance coming in from Azumi on top. Raging Slash 1, 2, 3. Not gonna find a kill though, and now looking to go for the disengage. Son of Love is gonna find another kill. A stun though coming in from Azumi with the flicker disengage back, but Lucky Buck maybe looking for more, but the members of Nefarious going to be able to disengage. A wise retreat, as they were all low and they got what they were coming for. A couple towers and a little claim to the map. So they have even up the towers. It was 8-2. We called that out earlier, and now it is even up 8-8. Both bases looking the exact same. An inhibitor for both teams, the only defense plus the 5 members of these rosters.
What a game indeed. What a game indeed. I'm sneaking in a little bit of Brim, you still want to take the show? Got it?
No, you good. You good.
Appreciate your help. Definitely looking at the way this match is going, you are seeing Nefarious kind of on the turnaround, and not the easiest game for them to go up against. Like you said, this clash over here, a little bit of that breakdown. They did have the early advantage for this fight, taking out some members, but then Some to Love able to rush in with that Beatrix and that flicker. A huge play indeed. Didn't connect with the last 3 snipes. We'll probably talk about that later off stream, but definitely was at the right place at the right time. And that's kind of what you have to do as that marksman. You realize the damage output that you have and make the most of it. And those little decisions is what turns these games around.
Absolutely, and we're seeing the teams jockey for control of this river. We know that Enhanced Luminous Lord is about to spawn in. This could spell victory or defeat for one of these two teams, and you can tell both of them want to contest, but wait, hang on here. Some to Love clearing up that wave. Is he going to stay there? They're going to rotate to this fight. They are going to rotate. I thought we might have seen potentially a setup for a back door, but now Tank Dynasty answering to that wave push from Some to Love. It's going to create a little bit of opportunity, a little pocket of space for the side of Nefarious, and now some river control as well to go ahead and burst out this Lord, and they will with a Loy's Dark on the side of Tank Dynasty. Not going to make it in time, but they're going to commit to the fight. Black Dragon coming in, finding a couple members, going to go ahead and land in. Not going to be able to find a CC though. Not going to be able to find a kill just yet. Sanji trying to dish out damage with that heavy crossbow. Wild Charge is going to catch a Loy on the Lunux. That's one member down. Trying to go for a second. G-Condu from Son to Pro for the disengage. Lucky Buck not going to find anyone, but now Azumi is here to fight. Brave Fighter Stance coming in, but the side of Tank Dynasty is going to retreat. They know the Lord is inbound, but G-Condu coming in from Son to prove he can smell the blood in the water, looking for the fight. Way of the Dragon on Grok. The stun from Wapu, a kill into Son to Love hands. The combo, the synergy, and the chemistry coming in from Nefarious as they're looking in to close out this match. Sanji trying to hold this mid lane. Renner's Empathy being charged up, going to narrowly miss wide right on the side of this Beatrix. They still do have that Enhanced Lord coming down, and boy does it look angry. It looks like a runaway monster down here as Nefarious is looking to close this out, but the Black Dragon from Zeus and the heavy crossbow gonna find Lapu. The defense immaculate from the side of Tang Dynasty. They're keeping the members away from the base and leaving more to be taken out by Tang. Lucky Buck on the charge though, looking for some to love here, getting sidestep, a little cha-cha slide from the Beatrix, bringing out the Bennett. Not going to be able to get engaged on those. Tang Dynasty will take that defense and won't look for anything more than that.
What a play indeed. A little bit of a look at both of these teams kind of clashing it out. And I gotta give it to the side of Nefarious. Able to turn this back into their favor. But the question is, can they close it out? Both teams hanging on to their inhibitor turrets right now. You are looking at that engagement with that lore, not really able to make much of it. And we're seeing a lot of a back and forth kind of story between both of these teams right now. But the question is, who can close it out? When you see this kind of situation, it's going to go down to the wire, down to that 5v5 clash, and who can sustain it. But speaking of sustainability, both teams kind of fighting it out.
Absolutely. We're seeing Aloy already having to use that light oil to conceal coming in from the side of Nefarious. A wise choice to try and disengage, but Some to Love has been split up by the rest of the team, but Some to Prove going to help his counterpart out. Going to land that Way of the Dragon, going to get Sanji taken out. Beatrix still alive just for the moment, now going to get taken out. Lucky Buck Immortality being popped on the Frederick, going to be able to disengage Big Zeus with the Black Dragon, trying to find a kill. That Shaw passive keeping him alive in between three members. Might be getting caught out though, the stun, but the Petrify as well. The knockup not going to let him get away, so they will go ahead and take him down. Now Grok on the run. Brave fighter stance in here from Lapu. Lapu going to find the son of Valentina as the damage is stacking up from Aloy on Grok, who is going to get taken down. A lot of members from Tang Dynasty currently missing. Only 2 members alive for their side. Some to Prove still going for it. Another Way of the Dragon. Going to secure another kill, double kill in the hands of Aloy. And oh boy, is Nefarious on the attack right now. They are on the offensive. They have the advantages. Lord spawning in less than 20 seconds. This is definitely their game to take if they want it. This is the best opportunity they'll probably get with all the members from Tang Dynasty down. And boy, I mean, look at the replay here. We're seeing these same type of fights. It's been back and forth all game. Nefarious, Tang Dynasty, Nefarious, no, Tang Dynasty, but Nefarious right now currently holding the line, holding the pressure, and trying to secure this win. And you can see it from all their fights. They've been getting it done. The combos, the synergy, the lineups, and right now securing this lore with Some to Love assisting. Disappointing Retry is going to go ahead and pick that up. Some to Prove though, maybe on the hunt, keeping some vision in that jungle. Wisely going to back off, going to recall, go for the reset. We know what they have to do. Sync the waves. Isn't that right, Weezy?
That is entirely right now. You have this neutral objective, and we see a lot of teams have this issue of figuring out what to do with it. You have the Lord, you worked so hard for it, and now all you have to do is sync the minions on this push. If you're looking at what the side of Tang Dynasty has on their disposal, they have only 1 inhibitor turret, meaning if you can crash in with this Luminous Lord and take out that inhibitor, there's going to be too much pressure to handle in terms of minions, which is where you'll see a possible finish from the side of Nefarious. But they have to time it right, as if you get too aggressive too early and use too much utility, that'll work into the hands of the side of Tang Dynasty to kind of close it out and take this clash. Like I said, it's neck and neck. It's going to be down to the wire, determining who wins this game. Who is going to win this fight, as you are seeing Luminous Lord crashing on the top side, and Inhibitor turret going down in the mid lane as well. And now all turrets are down for the side of Tang Dynasty.
And all members present for this final fight. Black Dragon coming in. They did it once before. Can they do it again? The members currently getting bursted down from those links. It's currently a stalemate as far as numbers. The Immortalities are getting popped, and the Nexus is being focused. Some of the love finding Grok. Now trying to find the Nexus. They're looking to close out this game. Way of the Dragon coming out, going to pick up another kill. 3 members down at the hands of Beatrix. But now the Nexus will go down at the hands of Nefarious, as they will mount the impossible, the unpredictable comeback against Tang Dynasty.
Man, oh man, what a game. But Nefarious able to close it out, and this is what we were talking about, making the most out of these neutral objectives. This was one that was down to the wire for sure. Tang Dynasty, definitely a new team that we're kind of seeing on the rise. It's the first game in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and they're going up against Nefarious, a team known to break records and kind of maintain that composure throughout the entire game. Speaking of composure though, I gotta give it to both sides of the board so far, playing really well. But Some to Love just had something to show today. You did see that full damage build, also having that Wind of Nature to negate that physical damage, a little bit of that Haw's Claws for some sustainability, and that's the beautiful thing about the Beatrix. But marksman that we kind of see slotted all the time in the MLSA. It has pretty much everything you need: a sniper, a shotgun, submachine gun and also a rocket launcher. I mean, what more could you want? And then not only that, but I think that was the skin. Like, was that the M4 skin that we saw today? I don't know. I've never seen that one before, but I thought it was Kimmy out there for a second. But let's take a look into the data, right? A little bit of breakdown from Sun to Love, focusing on those turrets. 51%. If I am the side of Tank Dynasty, I'm definitely going to have to draw up a game plan going into game 2 to stop Sun to Love from getting online. Sun to Love definitely being around the map, pushing in these turrets, so it's kind of helped them win this game. But if you shut down this marksman in the early phase and stop him from rotating around the map and creating some real estate for his team, you could possibly win the early game and give a much harder game to the side of Nefarious. Looking at the side of Tank Dynasty, though, you are seeing that Earth, though, kind of the same story. 59%, in fact, for the pushes of turrets. Definitely had a lot of team participation for both sides as well. So like we said, this was down to the neck wire for both of these teams kind of competing in these 5v5 clashes. But Nefarious able to kind of outdo them and close the game out. But like we said, this is just game 1. This is series 3, and both these teams are ready to continue competing. Let us know who you guys think will take game 2. Do you think Nefarious kind of close it out with a sweep? Or do you think the brand new team, first time ever competing, will even out the board and take us to a game 3? Find out momentarily, but get some popcorn, get some drinks. I'll be right back with you guys for game 2.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Loved you from the first time you called me late. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. when you're miles away. Yeah. You can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway. Yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway. Yeah, yeah. No, never, never wanna forget. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway. Yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway. Yeah, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Land of the Dawn. We are on Season 1, Week 4, Day 2 of the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy Series 3, and also two amazing teams competing to win this series. We already seen Nefarious kind of dominate and take Game 1, and they're going up against Tang Dynasty. This is the first time ever we've seen them compete in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, but I gotta say, a little bit of a look back at last game. It was neck and neck down to the wire, but Nefarious having a little bit stronger of a commitment to close it out and finish that game. But like I said, that is just one battle in the war as they are competing in a best of 3. The question is, does Nefarious win 2 wins in a row and sweep Tang Dynasty, the new team in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, showing a little bit more of that seniority? Or are we going to see Tang Dynasty, the freshmen in the academy, kind of show them that we are here to stay and we are the top dogs?
In win or loss, I think Tang Dynasty is still here to stay. I mean, in their first outing up against Nefarious, right, a team we deem to be one of the better teams in MLSA, took them 20 minutes, a little over 20 minutes, definitely down to the wire, and nothing was for free for the side of Nefarious. They actually had Nefarious on the back end of this match. If we're being technical about this, Nefarious actually had to go for the comeback against Tang Dynasty, who weren't able to close it out just right. But speaking of closing out, we have went over to the draft, and the first half of the pick and ban phase has been concluded. We are seeing picks like Eve being locked in from the side of Tang Dynasty, Leah Mord, Atlas also on board for the side of Nefarious, along with that Beatrix and Lapu Lapu. So a couple heavyweights from both sides, some big names and big plays enabled from both of these compositions.
Now, I'm loving the Eve being slotted up, and then also Sanji with that Claw. That's guaranteed late game damage and also early potential from the Eve. Just gonna force the side of Nefarious to pick something to get to that back line and possibly disrupt that Blazing Duet and also disrupt that manipulation going down from the Eve. See, almost got me there. I done learned, just say the last word. Don't fall for those tricks. But looking at the draft so far, you are seeing something to prove with a little bit of a textbook play. They banned the Diggy and then took up that Atlas in the first phase of the draft, which is going to guarantee a couple of things, right? CC with the Fatal Links to group up majority of the heroes on the side of Tang Dynasty. When you ban out that Diggy, that direct counter, it opens up the opportunity for that. But looking at the side of Tank Dynasty, they do have a little bit of mobility at their disposal. You have the mirrored effect with Dexter over there on Sanji to get out of those tricky situations. You have Leomord rushing in with that Shadow Stampede to kind of be that frontline presence that your team needs. You have the Claude, has a late game damage on that Blazing Duet to kind of close out to the backlines for Nefarious. And I love the way their draft is looking so far. But for the side of Nefarious, right, they got a couple things working in their favor. They've got something to love. That's number one. They got something to love on Beatrix. That's number two. And they also have an Atlas with no direct counter. At this point, Retro locking in that Bellaric. Now, this is interesting. And not just any Bellaric. This is a Bellaric with a Retribution on his side.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing Nefarious kind of get in their bag right now, pulling out that Bellaric in the jungle. That will be the case. And I mean, honestly, to no other option but for it to be the jungle. So we'll definitely see it get picked up there. Very interesting from them, whether that's something they've been trying out recently or something new, or if they just feel confident right now up 1-0 up against Tank Dynasty. I don't know if this would be the time to kind of fool around with this team. We did see Tank Dynasty take them to the brink of a loss in that first match, and now with these picks, they have the Akai and the Barats locked in, and I think this is going to be a Barats XP, Wheezy, which is actually very interesting. I was actually just talking about this with some players last night away from the MLSA. Barats being picked up overseas in that XP lane, not too much, right? But one of those rising picks that we've kind of seen, like some of these other picks come out of the woodworks, like Lapu Lapu in the XP, and now Barats being slotted in. So it looks like Tank Dynasty, while they may be a new team to the MLSA, not new at all to getting ahead of the curve and paying some attention over to the pro scene and seeing what they can kind of emulate over here in North America. So now, like I said, with Nefarious kind of toying around with their composition and Tank Dynasty kind of keyed in and locked in on what needs to be picked up and slotted to get the job done, these compositions will be finalized. I feel like Tank Dynasty could potentially go ahead and take this match. But Weezy, what say you? How do you feel about these compositions?
Well, looking at the draft so far, right, if I look at Nefarious, they have a lot of frontline composition. You have the Lapu Lapu, the Bellaric, and to top it off, an Atlas. So you're going to put a lot into the hands of Beatrix and Aloy over there on that Lilia. We know Lilia providing that early burst potential to be able to take down those beefier heroes who decide to be overly aggressive is a great plan for the early game. Beatrix, a marksman that kind of scales as the match goes. But like I said, that is everything into the hands of Beatrix for the late game. And I'm not really sure if that'll possibly work out. Now, they do have some things that work in their favor, right? They have a double tank composition, and not just a double tank, they have a Bellaric in the jungle, and this is a wild card pick. And we usually say with these type of picks, it can go one or two ways. Really good or really bad, as we will be seeing him go up against Lucky Buck for K3 on the Leomord, which is one of the best junglers this season. So definitely going to be an upscale battle, especially against that Leomord in terms of clearing and farming. But looking at the top lane, Sanji does have this Claude, and he's going up against the Beatrix. And I would have to say, Beatrix kind of scaling through time. Sanji more of that late game marksman, so need to be a little bit careful. But like you said, who do I think wins the draft? I'm going to have to give this one to the side of Tank Dynasty.
Absolutely, and since you also agree, we can kind of go over some of the win conditions I kind of feel for the side of Tank Dynasty, and right away with the Barats, right? Gonna have the durability, sustainability later on in those team fights as he does scale. He's a very strong scaling pick as the game gets later on. And speaking of that, he also fits into the CC immunity, right? With Dayton's Welcome, able to immune CC during the channeling, during the charging up of that skill. And then you have the Akai, right? A well-known counter for Atlas, but not only just for Atlas, but any charge in any engage, namely on this Azumi with the Lapu Lapu, and able to lock down that Brave Warrior when he decides to target those back lines. And you still have the front line coming in from Big Zeus. So they kind of have a little mix and match, a little ability to go in between the back line and then the front line as far as Pill. And then as well, they're going to offer something to prove a hard time for the sets because we have the Eve, right? And we spoke on this. We've seen it in the first series between Elite 10 and their matchup. The Eve being able to deal with the Fatal Links with that CC immunity. They have it with the Purify and then with Claude, right, with his mobility along with Purify. Gonna prove very hard for someone to prove to be able to find the CC. But speaking of finding CC here,
Shadow Stampede following the Brave Fighter stance. First blood into the hands of Lapu Lapu. Down goes Lucky Buck, but Turtle going into the hands of Belleric, and a double kill into the side of Lapu Lapu. Uzumi, one of the best XP laners in the MLSA, able to secure 2 kills, and that was that Retribution comboed with this Belleric to secure that Turtle. A huge start for the side of Nefarious.
absolutely, and not the start that you want for Tang Dynasty, right? They do have the picks to deal with the composition, but the timing is ultimately what matters much. Speaking of timing here, though, a little force of the Fatal Links, gonna burn out that Purify, not gonna find a kill, but does find utility being wasted by the side of Tang Dynasty. And like we said, they have the picks to deal with Nefarious, but the timing, the scaling, it is needed. You have to reach the late game. You have a Claude, you have an Eve, you have a Barat on your team, and the only person that really can fight for the early is Leomore. So maybe a little more targeting on the gold lane, which it looks like we might see here as the members of Tang Dynasty are currently grouped up around the top side.
Like a manipulation going down. Blaze Duet in response. Sanji trying to get to the backline for a kill, but wait a minute. Belleric rushing in, possibly using the Wrath of the Dryad at his disposal for some additional CC. He's going to go ahead and try and chase down this Akai. But right now, like you said, they are 0-2. They have 2 kills in their hands right now. Izumi actually the one to take this out. We're just going to give him a slight advantage against that Barat on the bottom side. But speaking of the lane, something to prove, kind of peeling back Sanji to allow some to love to push in some of this gold. We're just going to give that Beatrix that slight advantage in the gold lane. But wait a minute. Little bit of a recall, almost spotted him out with Dexter right there, but not able to hit the mark to know that he was recalling. But like we said, 0-2. If we are seeing Tang Dynasty want to stay in this game and not get swept from Nefarious, we need to see some answers in the early game.
Absolutely, and Nefarious doing a good job, though, up in that top side. We have crossed the 4-minute mark. If you take a look at the items here ahead of this Turtle, you will note that DHS still being built up by the side of Sanji. Normally, the DHS being picked up around this 4-minute mark, but like we said, Nefarious pressuring in on that gold lane, slowing down the farm from Sanji, who won't have it currently for this Turtle fight. Unless they can stall it, maybe if he's closing it, he does have 3 components. It's definitely close to being completed, but Bloodlust X already being copped in by Izumi, but now the full commit.
UC Turtle going into the hands of Belleric again. Not even the heavy spin from Akai can stop it. Some to love getting a kill onto Akai in that process, down in that manipulation. And now Lucky Buck running away with the Shadow Stampede. Not only did they take another Turtle, but they took another kill, slowly inching their way up in terms of gold and in terms of objectives for the side of Nefarious.
Absolutely, things going into the hands of Nefarious right now. They're playing this extremely well. They know the win conditions. Speaking of conditions, Azumi down in the bot lane, Fate forcing the engage.
Tona's welcome, but is it enough to keep him in? Oh my goodness, the sustainability from Barat, but not enough to win that lane, but enough to take down some to prove and live, have that tower live for a possible another clash as Azumi trying to take advantage of the separation. He's gonna go ahead and try and push this in and burst down that tower, but man, oh man, was that close. Did you see that sustainability from that Detna's welcome over there on Big Zeus?
And that's exactly what you can expect from that pick. Like I pointed out earlier on, the sustainability, the durability, as the game goes on longer and longer, as the items are getting picked up from the side of Tang Dynasty, you'll see a lot more plays like that. Right now, they just have to kind of find their footing, right? They're down currently 4K because they did go for some ill-advised fights. That first Turtle was not what they wanted to do, but items being picked up. We do see the Blade of Despair getting locked in from Son of Love on the Beatrix. The early damage definitely coming in as you see him doing damage to Akai now. Speaking of items coming in, utility from the Eve with that Ice Queen wand, but in the bush here in the bot side or top side, we could see a potential engage. But since there's not one, there has been a lot of action though. Claude actually, interestingly enough, I think we just seen him pick up the Wind of Nature over the DHS. So gonna miss that early power spike. Already missing the 4-minute power spike. My goodness. Speaking of spike, Beatrix able to find a shot on Claude and take him out. That Wind of Nature not going to do anything.
But the Fatal Lynx has other plans. Able to get a set, Some to Love, taking out Lucky Buck on that Shadow Stampede. The horse just running off the map, and down goes Leomore. But wait a minute, Some to prove dangerously low. They were able to proxy off this lane, though, and take 2 members from the side of Tang right there, Tang Dynasty. It looks like they're going to go ahead and take another objective into their hands. They're now 8-1. This is that snowball that we like to talk about from time to time, and definitely rolling fast for the side of Nefarious, and we need answers, we need shovels to be able to stop it over there on the side of Tang Dynasty.
Definitely need shovels to dig out of the hole that they have put themselves in. Like you said, 8-1, and also now down 7K, but Something to Prove looking for more.
Ooh, wait a minute, Something to Love getting the turret in the process, and Something to Prove, did you see how he like rushed in and kind of pulled the aggro of the side of Tang Dynasty to allow that turret to be pushed in by Something to Love? Definitely a smart play. That takes some real synergy from a team, realizing what the objective is and also realizing how to make it work in your favor. As everybody shifted focus on to Something to Prove. He didn't even have Fatal Links, right? He just wanted to let them know he was there, and they, maybe a little bit of miscalculation, forgot that he had just used that ultimate, which allowed them to have that pressure to take in that mid lane, which will create opportunity as they have more options to expand to on the map.
And like you said, didn't have the ultimate then, but has the ultimate now. Might be going for it.
Ooh, does connect, able to get a set into the manipulation, but wait a minute, Blazing Duet going back in, trying to do some damage to Nefarious, but one member down. Lucky Buck is still not in the play, and Something to Love having some plans, takes out Akai. Daytona's Welcome connecting over there onto Beller. Whoa, wait a minute, there goes that Godly Atlas with that beautiful camera pan, but like we said, what an amazing play on the bottom side. Big Zeus able to grab Belleric, that disappointing retreat, and throw him into that inhibitor, which allowed him to get that kill. And this is what you said, kind of watching that Barat as it gets to that late game. Being that beefy fighter is definitely going to work into the hands of Tang Dynasty. But the question is, will Nefarious allow them to go to this late game? Only 9 minutes in, and look at the clash already. You do see manipulation going down, and you see the Shadow Stampede by Lucky Buck taking out the backline, rushing into Beatrix. Oh my goodness, the Fatal Links with a double set, but quickly taken down. And right now, the side of Tang Dynasty kind of answering back for the over-aggressive play that Nefarious has put on today. And wait a minute, heavy spin for the pin onto the broken tower, and down he goes. That is a killing spree activated, and Izumi has fallen. That is 3 members down for the side of Nefarious.
Absolutely, they are falling in the compound right on top of that. That all started from them going for that gank on Barras. They were trying to push the tower and also trying to get the kill. They got the tower, but they lost 3 members using all that utility on Big Zeus, and the rest of Tang Dynasty was able to pick up the pace and able to return the engage and take down their members. Like we said, Big Zeus, the durability, the sustainability coming in clutch, enabling plays as the side of Nefarious were trying to take him out. And they are still down quite a bit of gold. They were down 8K. Now they're down slightly less than that, around that 5K mark. But doing a great job nonetheless. Like I said, trying to find a way to dig out of this hole. They still got to take those baby steps, take those little victories. As Nefarious is going to go ahead and pick up that Lord. It's just the first Lord. You can definitely defend against it. 10 minutes into the match, this isn't really the fight you want to take or would want to take, even if you were kind of in the lead just yet. But speaking of lead, Atlas leading the way to try to catch Zeus out here.
Zeus in a bad situation as the blooms are hitting him hard over there by that Lilia. But wait a minute, Detona's Welcome for a little bit of sustainability. But is it enough as a Brave Fighter stance? Duncan right on top of him, and Something to Love to combo it out with Nimaru. Down goes the dinosaur, down goes Barat. But speaking of utility, Akai with the heavy spin is able to secure that kill onto Izumi while the Lord is pushing in on the mid inhibitor, and down it goes. Manipulation popping down as well. Blazing Duet for the backline damage. Sanji trying to get a pick off as there are 4 members from Nefarious trying to close out this game in a 10-minute fashion. Can they do it? Look at the Nexus going down. Something to Love getting a kill onto Akai. Double kill, matter of fact, taking out the marksman. Down goes Sanji, and not only does Sanji fall, but down goes the Nexus. Ladies and gentlemen, Nefarious takes the game. Not only the game, they take the series with a fashionable sweep.
Absolutely 2-0 for Nefarious. They will complete the sweep up against Tang Dynasty, the newer team. But respect to Tang Dynasty for getting out here tonight. Gave us a great showing in that first match. A little less so in this match, but I think that just goes right back to those newer teams not knowing exactly how to execute those win conditions. They had a draft that actually had great matchups into them, but executing at the wrong times, clashing a little too early before they were able to hit those power spikes, which ultimately led to the snowball of Nefarious. Speaking of snowballs, though, Something to Love repeating, going for that 12-1 stat line, getting that MVP, 51% turret damage, 43% team damage, and there for basically all the fights, just as much as their mid laner and Rome with that 81% team fight participation. Like we said at the start of this series, Like I specifically stated out, Beatrix, Some to Love, being one of those rising marksmen in MLSA, and the stats, you can't deny them, you can't fight them, and that's the fun thing about facts. You can't debate them. NSG getting it done behind Some to Love's power in the gold lane.
What a game indeed, and the Fairy is able to close it out with a sweep. Like I said, this is the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and the whole purpose for this is for teams to practice and get ready for events in North America, such as NAMPL, and also future upcoming tournaments. Thank you so much for all the teams that competed today as we went through 3 series. Shout out to all the teams that competed. If you guys would like to join and kind of partake in future events and get ready for NAMPL, definitely sign up through our official Discord server, the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. Even if you're a solo player and you need a team, still sign up. We have a spot for you guys to post your stats, and some of these amazing teams will go ahead and look at it and possibly pick you guys up. If you're already on a team, a huge advantage. Go ahead and register your team now and start competing and get ready for the professional scene of North America, as NAMPL is right around the corner after M4. Super excited as I was casting aside Coach Deku, also a little bit of a co-cast with Rim as well, making that special appearance. Thank you so much from both of you guys. And a special shout out to everybody in the audience, as we appreciate each and every one of you guys. I know the holidays are right around the corner, so happy holidays from the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy family as you guys progress into Christmas and also into the new year. But speaking of new, tomorrow is King of the Hill. And what that is basically a best of 1 where teams are going to be competing and trying to keep that crown. Definitely tune in, as it is going to start at 8 p.m. Eastern time with your favorite teams that you've seen today and so much more. If you guys would like to partake in it, go ahead and register before the day ends so you guys can take part in that as well. Guys, appreciate y'all being here. My name is Wheezy. I've been your host today, and hopefully we can see you guys in future matches for the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy going forward, as we're live every single day, Monday through Thursday, from 8 p.m. Eastern time to around midnight. So guys, as always, thank you so much for being here. Happy holidays. We'll see you guys on the next one.